Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
That's Tiffany.
This is a comic book show where we talk about comic books and stuff. Got plenty to talk about today. Of course, this show is brought to you by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, you can sponsor today's show and keep the riffraff out of the equation by using super chats. Ask a question or comment, we'll read it here on the show. But the most important way to help us out is, of course, by watching this damn thing and by clicking the like and subscribe button and hitting the bell for notifications so you know when we're going live every Monday around 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, there's so much to get into, but just a quick. Oh, good. As did I. A little breakdown of what this show is all about. We're going to talk about a little bit about the news. We're going to talk about comics. We're going to review this past week's worth of books that we thought were worth our time and effort, and we're going to tell you whether they were or not. And then we're going to recommend comics that are coming out this week we think you should check out. But between those two things, also, book of the week. Which book we think is the book of the week, and we each get one. That way it's not contentious.
Right.
We each get to pick a book.
And since Helen of Windhorn is not coming out,
we'll call it the Helen of Windhorn of the week, because that's obviously, I don't know if you guys know this, but a book called Helen of Windhorn from Dark Horse Comics came out.
Have you heard of it?
It's good. Helen of Windhorn.
I've heard of that book.
Yeah, as have I. And I think there's not a soul alive that hasn't watched this show that also doesn't know that Helen of Windhorn came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago or whatever.
That's right.
3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it bears repeating because it's a good book. But anyway, this is an inside joke. We're not paid by Dark Horse to talk about
Not at all.
But if Dark Horse would like to sponsor today's show or next show, they're more welcome to do it, because we'd be happy to read Helen of Windhorn #2 coming out soon. Anyway, plenty to talk about. So yeah, there's we already talked about X-Men, so I'm really happy that we kind of covered that. But it's out. I still haven't gotten any more screeners, so I think that was it. Just the first 3, and I'm like, no, man, now I gotta wait.
Yeah, now I have to wait longer.
Yeah. No, 3 just dropped. So now,
yeah, but we had to wait longer because we saw the first 3, and then we haven't had anything.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, we went and checked.
It's a different type of waiting.
Oh,
yeah.
Anyway, so there's a lot going on. There's one particular big piece of news that came out in the comic book YouTube scene that we were really resident to talk about, and I'm for the most part, I'm just glad we didn't, because it wasn't like our place to talk about it. It wasn't really in any way contributory. But the takeaway from it, and if you know, if you don't, you'll find out. Just Google it and you'll find it, because there's no point in filling the chat with that or getting into it. But the point that I really want to make, as far as any optics are concerned, when it came to unfortunate and terrible and tragic and non-April Fool's related news, a creative took his own life today, possibly yesterday. And the most important thing that I want you to understand is that it is, I don't like to say this because it feels trite, but it is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And in this particular case, there is help out there for you if you are ever feeling that way, because when it's in the news, it tends to trigger people and it makes people feel like they need like maybe that's a solution. And I wanted to put in the chat a couple of options for you. There's a website, 988lifeline.org, and a great website, or a 800 number, 800-273-8255, which you can call anytime, day or night, 24 hours. They're going to be trained professionals there to talk to you and work out. At the very least, they'll be there to listen. These are trained counselors who are there to talk to you and to listen to you if you're at your lowest. And I've heard people in previous conversations, unfortunately, this is not the first time that someone that we know has taken their own life. And unfortunately, it probably won't be the last. But the point is that some folk, when we talk about this, tend to downplay those options to you. 988, I believe, is the emergency number, but there's also the phone number is the way to call, 800-273-8255. But some folk, they're like, oh, it's not, they downplay that. Trust me when I tell you, not that I speak from personal experience, but I know anecdotal evidence that says, call it. Upwards of 5 minutes is the longest wait. And listen, if you are going to make, if you have it in your head to make that decision, honestly, you can wait another 5 minutes. So call the number, and at the very least, try, take one shot to seek some kind of professional guidance, and then you go from there, one day at a time. But that's what they're there for. Their job is to listen, and their job is to help you through it. And so it's worth it. It's worth it. So take that with you. And so from there on, we will get to the comics.
Absolutely.
So we do have some super chats. I will address those next, and then we'll get into the comics. Although, you know what? Really quick, let's get this out of the way right now, because I read Amazing Spider-Man number 46. I don't know what my problem is, man. I just read these books, and I just like, yeah. And you know what it was? It was because there was a tease of the Sinister Six, and I was like, oh, cool, Sinister Six.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
You're like, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. But like, it's the thing that I should point out is that for a brief minute, there is a new artist on this book, and Carmen Carnero did the pencils, and the book was really good. It's just a really like solid slice of life looking comic that also handled the action very well. And I was just like, oh, this is really a good, all right, Marvel, way to go. And to upsell my lack of knowledge of creators in the industry, I don't know Carnero's work from much.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to kind of highlight it, or highlight my total and utter ignorance by being like, hey, check out this. And they're like, yeah, we know who Carmen Carnero is, man. And it's like, all right, well, fair enough. But she's drawing this book, and it looks really good. Maybe she should keep drawing it, because it'll look better than it has in a while. But yeah, it's Spider-Man and Aunt Anna. We're trying to make Aunt Anna a thing, and it's like one of those things where it's like a monkey's paw. Like, hey, you know what I really like? I'd like you to get more into Spider-Man's main cast, supporting cast. Spider-Man is one of the best supporting casts in mainstream comics today. How about that? Can we talk about that for a minute? And they're like, yeah, how about Aunt Anna? And I'm like, Aunt Anna really isn't a character. Why are we bothering with Aunt Anna? But here we go. And she is like, she's, she was a victim of the sinister laced Krakoan medicine, and so she went bonkers or something. It was very vague, but she was in Ravencroft, and then because she got out of her system, she's a good person and she's friendly, and she's like Aunt May but for Mary Jane. And I'm like, look, I come from a world where Aunt May died and didn't exist for a good long time. We don't need two Aunt Mays. I'm just saying.
It's fair.
But the book itself is it's very boring.
I'm sorry.
It's a boring book, but that's how it is. Yes, someone mentioned Aunt Anna from the animated series. Best version of her. She's just a villain. She's a bad guy, and she is played by Loxana Troy from TNG, and of course, Gene Roddenberry's late wife. Yes, and she really is hamming it up, man. She is, every chance she gets, she is just dragging Peter Parker. She's like, what are you doing with that horrible Peter Parker boy? And also manages to maintain a friendship with his caregiver, Aunt May. It's awesome. It's just high drama. It's the drama I'm looking for. Anyway,
wow.
Not found in Amazing Spider-Man, but maybe next year.
Okay.
We'll
fair.
see. Anyway, there's plenty more to talk about. I thought you might want to talk about this DC book.
Oh, sure.
Because you took to Twitter.
I did.
To try and get to the bottom of this mystery. Who, in the name of God, made this comic book?
So this is Flash number 7. It's written by Cy Spurrier with art by Ramon Perez.
Supposedly.
So and here's hang on before someone thinks we're like accusing Ramon Perez.
No, Ramon Perez did draw this book.
The issue was I purchased this through Amazon /Comixology/Kindle Reader, and that's where I often read a lot of my books, just because it's a huge space saver, and because of the fact that like this isn't my full-time job, it allows me the ability to like read at work or whatever, or like on lunch, or if I'm waiting for a meeting. This I will often try to remember on Monday to go back through my books and queue up the credits page, which is why sometimes I'm like, and I'm not ready. And so a lot of them actually didn't happen today, but this one I was like trying to get it ready to go, and I'm like sliding through it, and I'm like, okay, DC often puts it at the end.
Yes.
So I go to the end of the book, and I got nothing. Right. So I go back through, and I'm like, okay. So I start at the beginning, and I'm going through the pages, and I'm like, oh, it must be cleverly put into the art.
Yes, worked in, weaved in, like an opening credits.
I can't find it in my version of it. I deleted the download. I re-downloaded it. There's no credits page, and like it's not necessarily a make or break moment.
No,
but it also sucks for everybody who worked on this book, who it's nice to see your credits page. And this is like, of course, digital may not be their biggest seller.
Yeah.
But it is like the best option for a lot of people out there. And yeah.
Like
I don't know. That just sucks for me. And that just I don't know who that is.
It sucks for the creative team where it's like, here's the one page they get. It'd be like if the movie suddenly just cut off the end credits.
I was like, no more.
No
You
more.
You'd
get a lawsuit if that happened.
Oh yeah.
You know, that stuff is protected.
You know, everyone who worked on this, the colorist, the editor, there's none of that information is in this book, right? And that to me, it was like, that's really unfortunate. And I assume this is something on Amazon's side of things.
I would not be surprised. Or maybe because I know you know, we've been on the press list before for books. We've received digital copies. In fact, it didn't occur to me until just now I should have checked my my DC digital copies, because
they're not always there the week after.
No, we get them early. I get
but they remove them.
Well, that's true. That's true that you remove them. But because my point is, like, you know, when you get it, sometimes they're unfinished, or they're like, they make a late stage change, and that's not a DC thing. That's just a comic book thing. So maybe they like sent the wrong version.
I don't know, because there's the two ads are in here still.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, they could have had like an up to the minute.
No, it feels like it should go right here. It feels like just a page got left out.
Well, usually they superimpose the credits over.
Sometimes it's
like a page, like a content
its
page.
own like end page. Like I've definitely seen some books where it's just a like color or whatever with just the credits right at the end.
Yeah,
and I just wasn't there, and I just noted that because I was like, that's just unfortunate. I more or less took to Twitter not to be like, nah, I'm making fun of you, but like in hopes of, you know, if the creative team wanted to, they could contact someone about it and hopefully get it like remedied. You know, like I don't have the ability to go and be like, excuse me, Amazon, I believe you've forgotten something.
No,
but if they are able to get a hold of their editor, then hopefully the editor can cut in touch with a person in DC who would handle this and
just send them the right.
Hopefully get this taken care of. Because like I feel like if you're a creative team, you know, even if you're down in the nitty gritty, if you're an editor,
if you're an assistant editor,
you know, the letter, often
is overlooked anyway.
Is overlooked, and you know, their name is not on the cover anywhere. You know,
that's true.
So it's like, that sucks. So hopefully they are able to get this fixed, and it's something that doesn't happen to them again. But you know, I was like, no.
Yeah.
Great issue though. You know, this book, it constantly makes me feel like I don't know things in general. There are words that'll come up in here, and I'm like,
that's a reference to something.
No, great chance for me to learn a new word.
Oh, cool.
You know?
That's Spurrier for you.
Yeah, that's Spurrier for you. And I do absolutely love that. You know, it's a good opportunity where I'm just like, I'm 99% sure from context clues I can figure out what this is. However, this word was chosen specifically. So instead of just when we're at context clues, I'm going to look it up and see what the meaning is so that I can better understand. Because some writers obviously, you know, are very choosy about the words that they want to put on the page, right?
Yeah.
Flash, you know, Flash has been the book for 7 issues now. That, you know, some people are just not on board for it. And again, I'll say it again. I get it.
Right.
This is
for you.
This was such a good issue.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed this issue a
lot.
I
would say to our audience, like, hey, just break out your physical copy and see if the credits page is there. Unfortunately, since none appear, because the book is so on the bottom rung of the popular ladder, I am afraid no one in the chat can do so.
I'm sure someone has it. I thought about that, but I really just wanted to know, like, was it like my download was messed up? But yeah, so this issue,
it's Max Mercury.
It's it's a lot. Like,
so that's what they tease. They're like, Max Mercury.
Yeah, this is very much like you're trying to start giving you an explanation. It's kind of some of the things that are going on, right? And it's funny because at the end of the day, like, in my head, anytime I've run into the Flash, I'm not a Flash reader. He's there for a couple of reasons. One, they need to use the Speed Force in order to do something, go back in time,
right?
Power something. I don't know, right?
Or back up the Justice League in some way,
right? Or something is happening and like the Flashes are ruining something.
Yes,
right.
Whether it's the multiverse, the Speed Force, Sanctuary, you never know,
right? And so, like, for me, those are kind of like just a couple of the main bins that stories like the Flash come from, right? And so I assume that most fans are used to seeing those and are looking forward to that type of story, right? That's what this is.
Yeah,
that's what this book is.
Okay.
The Flashes are like wrecking.
That's all there is.
The Speed Force is messing things up.
Yeah. So it's like that episode of Star Trek and the Next Generation where
it's like the Speed Force and something bad happens.
Yeah, we're like, well, because their use of the Speed Force is breaking something, the way that like light speed travel is harming these like seemingly innocuous beings It's like every time that we go like warp 9, it hurts the fabric of space. Or
yeah,
something.
and like that's it is. It's like it's like unmaking that, like
Yeah.
it, you know, and
so yeah,
and so Inspector Pilgrim has been collecting flashes instead of like destroying them, which is what, you know, others he's working with would like to see that happen. He's like, I'm just keeping them someplace
yeah,
for now in order to, you know, figure this out.
So I'm just grabbing speedsters and putting them over
Right,
here.
which is why like Max and Impulse are here, right? Because Impulse went to find Max. They got chased down by, you know, these monsters that are like mercenaries. My brain was like Langoliers now. Just want to make a Langoliers reference.
Yeah.
But like Inspector Pilgrim's like, I kind of am like a Flash in my own way. Like I'm able to travel back and forth within the time span of my life.
Okay. That's like a speedster.
Yeah, he's trying to connect to them, right? Essentially he brings them in, he shows them what's going on. And that like essentially like the future's been murdered, right? Like something's murdered the future.
Oh, so now it's like a mystery.
It's a mystery. Like what's the mystery?
Forensically figure it out.
And what's the mystery? It's seemingly the Speed Force, right? Or the Flash is utilizing the Speed Force.
Oh, that's
right?
the murder weapon.
Yes, and the perpetrators.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
His solution is just kind of get
rid of the speedsters.
Yeah. Yeah, for the time being. And so he has a whole bunch of them.
A menagerie of speedsters.
And he ends up adding Max and
Impulse to
the list, of course. Which
Impulse is like, I'm from the future. Can I go?
Yeah, but he's like, no, man. Yeah, like reality's crumbling because speedsters keep using their powers, right?
Sure.
Because like at one point he went back to like his birth or like the moments before that, and then when he tried to go forward, like he ran out of time and someone like pulled him back out to save him. Right? Okay. And I'm like, that's cool. So yeah, like we have the criminology element of it. It's just on a grander scale. And at first it may not have felt like that's where we were going with this story, but like we're there.
Yeah.
We found our way. And it's great the way like they end up grabbing them. They got this weird, like it's very, I don't know. Spurrier's just doing something here. And meanwhile, in the last issue, we saw Eobard.
Yes.
Sorry,
the Crown of Thorns.
My jersey was trying to take over there for a second.
That's fair.
And Barry seemingly had been taken over by him for a second.
Okay.
Right at the end when he, stabbed Wally.
Okay.
And there's a great sequence right at the beginning of this, and it's not quite David Lynchian, but it's a little David Lynchian. It's evocative of that, which Barry's talking with Iris, and it's Iris, right? Yeah.
Iris is Barry's wife.
No, they're not Iris. Sorry,
Linda.
Linda, thank you. I always want to make her Iris. I don't know why. I'm like, she looks like Iris, but she doesn't. Why? She doesn't
because no one talks about Linda.
I guess that's true. Well, we have been talking about Linda.
Linda was like the main focus.
I also have like a coworker of Linda, and I'm like, that's not Linda.
Yeah, that doesn't look like Linda.
That's not Linda. I know Linda. It's also not Linda Belcher.
Oh, good.
But anyway, Linda's like got baby.
Yes.
And she's just somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but like not somewhere else like she has been.
Like
she's just like, oh, Barry, you're still here. What's up? Like, oh no, don't worry. Like Wally's got it. He's a superhero. like, oh, you're still here? And like Barry's like, hey, I'm a little worried. I don't really remember what happened. But there's like blood, and I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah.
So like things are like starting to fall apart for the Flash family, of course.
Starting to lose a little.
We're starting to lose a little bit of stuff here. Initially, like Barry puts together, he's like, okay, based on everything I've learned, I'm 99% sure it's this person who is like turned good.
It's red herring,
right? He's just like, okay, it has to be the Pied Piper. Fits the rap. I got it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Pied Piper is now given up that life of crime, presumably, and works for Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific's like, it is not.
It is not Pied Piper. I'm also Mr. Terrific. I'm keeping tabs on him.
It's literally what he says. It's like, Pied Piper's like, wait, I'm sorry, are you monitoring me? And he's like,
yeah.
He's like, I monitor everybody.
You're a supervillain.
I monitor everything. Don't take.
Also, everyone deserves a second chance.
He's like, that said, I don't know where Wally is. However, Mr. Terrific has put together that Wally has been able to like slide between realities.
Sure.
Essentially he's like, technically I don't know this because I wasn't told that, but sorry, layers of existence. I need to make sure I say these things correctly,
right? Because that's how they're meant. Like,
that's how they're meant.
It's not just like, oh, it interchangeably multiverse and hyper time.
Exactly.
Like, this is something.
That's
important.
what it is. And so you've got Mr. Terrific and Barry now putting together what's happening to Wally. Wally wakes up back in that garden he's visited, and he's like I was dead, basically. And he's been fixed up, but like the wound that had hurt him or had presumably killed him has been healed, but like it's so like it's the material that he was wounded with is from somewhere place else, and it is like it's kind of like Frodo's wound.
Okay.
It's like be careful because it could open up at any moment. And that's when we also find out that there's an arc angle there, which I love the idea of that. Again, that's like I just think that's really fun.
Playing with words.
Yeah. I love that type of wordplay. It's fun. It is an angled angel thing.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. For me, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
We are still getting a lot of hallmarks for me of like Flash, where I'm like, we're solving a mystery, we're dealing with family, and we're dealing with there's something wrong with the Speed Force. I'm like, we're ticking all the boxes. It's just in a very not traditional way.
Right.
So
how's Perez's art?
This was really different,
Yes.
and it was a little more traditional, which I think might have been I really like the art in the other issues, and I did like this too, but I really like the art in the other issues.
It's just night and day. It's completely different artists,
right?
Like,
but
just completely different styles.
I am wondering is if we had led with a Ramon Perez with this book to start with, if it would have been an easier pill to swallow for some people, because at least it would have looked a little more traditional.
Sure.
We don't see as much fun panel breakouts. We don't see a lot of the experimentation there.
Yeah.
So I think this was a good decision for right now, for at least for this issue.
Yeah.
But I really love the art from before. But I thought this was really good. It had a very like heroic feeling to it without feeling too like standard superhero.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it allowed the colors to be bright and poppy and, still have human moments. So
Fair.
Good stuff.
Cool. Getting into our super chats, Lee Allen says, I thought you were off the goop for warming up to DK2, Sal. This is a deep cut. I very casually made a comment, Lord knows when, where I was like, maybe I judged Dark Knight Strikes Again too harshly. And I'm going to talk about that on the couch one day in the near future, probably this year. But he says, but upon revisiting it, I see what you're talking about and appreciate the art and colors more. I wouldn't go so far as to say I appreciate the art and colors more. I'm just saying that I may have judged that book a little too harshly. Somber Shadow 001. Hey guys, happy 10th to you. Thank you very much. That's right. Our main channel, ComicPop Prime, has turned 10 on the 26th of March. Back issues hit 10 years, which I still am shocked by. I'm thrilled and I'm happy. And, but we didn't do anything. We didn't feel compelled to celebrate much. It was just kind of like, we're just another day at the office, which I'm happy about. I'll take that. Over feeling it, But he says, I was 12 years old when you guys started. Cue aging Matt Damon meme, and have been watching ever since. Love you guys. Thanks a lot, Somber Shadow. Holy crow, man. Appreciate it. Cat Lawyer World for Treats. You guys reminded me of the joy of discovering new stories and really love the medium and creators. Thanks to you, I feel like a kid every Wednesday.
Yay! That's awesome. I mean, that's me right now. And again, like I know I am that person who was always like, you don't have to follow a writer if you don't want to. Meanwhile, I'm reading the Flash for the first time in my life because I'm following a writer over to it.
Right.
But it is fun to be reading a character that I've never really read before.
Yeah. A Secret Boss. I finally get to watch this live. I'm finally back in the U.S. Ultimate Spider-Man continues to deliver. Agreed with you, man. Thank you very much, and welcome to the
back.
show. Welcome back. John Kata, question for Tiffany. As a lot of your favorite writers are from the UK and usually start on 2000 AD, have you actually considered reading that on your next and find your next fave?
That's actually not a bad
I was gonna say,
idea.
holy crap! What a brilliant man! What a brilliant idea.
That's actually not a bad idea whatsoever. I do wonder how well it'll translate though, because I do question if part of what I find to be so strong about their writing is them writing for an American audience. Is like taking the way that they would write a 2000 AD comic for a British audience, and then knowing that they have to make some changes for an American audience, and hopefully not making too many sacrifices. But I do wonder if it helps to like hone that word craft. I don't know. I'd have to check. I'd have to read some of their stuff. But of course, it'd be older stuff, so it's harder to make that decision because writers change over time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's a great idea.
Thelman Kal-El Data says, happy April 1st to Comic Pop. I had the worst Easter of my life thus far this past weekend, but getting to catch you live is certainly improving things. So I'm glad to hear it.
Well, thank you
And
so
I'm sorry to
much.
hear that things are down, but you know, just keep it up, man. Just keep plugging along, and there'll be better days ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, it's funny. We didn't even think about doing an April Fool's episode.
Not at all.
I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
We didn't do that.
Right.
Bear Farmer saw a post. People want a recast of Kang as Terrence Howard. Thoughts? I think they should do it. First line is, "It's me. I'm here. Get used to it." That's a funny joke that I don't think is worth the effort. Honestly, I think it's better just move on. Kang never had a strong showing in terms of like people's enthusiasm. People wanted to be excited by Kang because they wanted to keep enjoying the MCU for the most part. I think that any praise that we gave to the actor who previously portrayed Kang, whose name just escapes me, it's genuinely just forgot his name for the moment. But I think that it's well earned. He's a fine actor. He did a good job with what he was given, regardless of allegations. You know, it's just like we liked what he did. But I don't think anyone will miss Kang.
No.
And I don't think there's any need to worry about that anymore. Like, I think that Kang was a hasty decision that was made without much thought because, you know, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Kang has 2 good stories out of 100, and those 2 stories are steeped in continuity that this franchise is frankly unequipped to handle. And, you know, and on the heels of a time travel Avengers movie,
Yeah.
you're going to do more time travel,
People
and then
love time travel.
you're not going to have fun with it? Like, no fun with the time travel. Like, Kang's appeared in what, like 2 or 3 projects, and he didn't do anything of value or consequence or fun with the time travel. Just he got small. That's it. Nathan Chaffin says, great interviews coming from the other channel. Any chance of you and Tiffany sitting down with Kelly Thompson to talk Birds of Prey and her announced Scarlet miniseries? We would love to do that. In fact, I think we've reached out to Kelly Thompson in the past, but so far, no dice. But we really, we enjoy her work, and I would love to have a chance to sit down and chat with her about anything from her career, because she's top marks in my book. And thank you for your generosity. John Tink, 56. Why does Marvel make it so hard to find trades of their most famous and well-known runs? It can be frustrating to find what you're looking for. Well, I will say it is easier now than it was 25 years ago, because Marvel had to be like goaded or cattle prodded into making trades when like Joe Quesada and Bill Jemas came on the scene. And so, yeah, it can be worse. The problem is they don't like to have like a big stock in their warehouse. It's just a holdover from the old days. And so as a result, like, they don't like order a lot,
right?
So those books run out of print very quickly. And so yeah, but the fact is, when they do print, they print a lot. So my advice to you would be to track them down via aftermarket until they make those trades available. I will notice the Epic collections; those are weird how they did those. And I remember one of our comic book stores actually had like a whole long box full of Epic collections that were like half price. And I'm like, oh, they're going to not print these.
Right.
These are going to be double price in a minute. But I bought a whole bunch of them like a rat. And sure enough, they skyrocketed. But one of them, the Fantastic Four Coming of Galactus volume in the Fantastic Four Epic trades, it was like volume 4 or 3 or something like that. And or maybe 6, I don't know. I don't know why I picked a number arbitrarily, but like it was an early, it was like, I think it was single digits for the Epic volumes for Fantastic Four. I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
It was out of print for a while. And I know this only because I really wanted to have a copy, because I wanted to do Trial or Coming of Galactus. And it was out of print. And it's like the point of the Epic collections is to be in print, is to have these seminal stories available. And because there was such demand for it, it went back to print.
Right.
So they do listen to the audience. But honestly, you want Omar from Nearman Condition to hear your pleas about the out of print stuff. He actually talks to Marvel. Marvel will send him things. So that's about 100% more communication than we get from Marvel.
Right.
So, you know, if you want to know more about that,
start doing that then.
I mean,
no, we don't need it.
These emails I send to Marvel definitely go on fall on deaf ears. So Thelman Kal-El Data, also a new horror anthology from Gail Simone this summer. Misty, excellent, and she's writing something Superman. That's true. Out of WonderCon, Gail Simone dropped like a huge amount of information about like what she's working on, which I was like, oh, cool. I hope she has time for X-Men, because that was the big deal at Marvel.
Well, a lot of it might already be done then.
Yes. Incidentally, they also mentioned that she's going to do 18 issues per year at least of X-Men, and maybe Uncanny X-Men as well. And I was like,
Per year?
yeah.
What about just 12?
I know. And it's funny because I was like, at first my reaction was like, oh, okay, cool, sounds good. But when I went online to see the what people were saying, most people were like, cool, so David Marquez will be doing what, 3-6 issues of that run? Because there's no effing way that he's going to stay on or be able to catch up or be able to like maintain the deadline of more than 12 issues a year. And the kind of like wind out of the sails reaction of like, boy, I love when you announce a massive initiative for X-Men or for any title, and then have no plan for artistic similarity. And my only theory about that is that I think that Pepe Larraz will be tapped very quickly into the run to maintain people's enthusiasm for X-Men if the art has to shift multiple times.
I mean,
to keep up with that schedule.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sure you're right. I just don't know if that's the right decision. I feel like Larraz is so tethered to the look of Krakoa that if they're trying to make this feel like it's new and exciting and to, appeal to people who weren't into Krakoa, that's just I just don't know if that's the right decision right away. Like not that Larraz should never work on X-Men again, but like so soon, it just doesn't feel like
it wouldn't feel right.
The right call.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's talk about some more books.
Yeah, let's talk about some. I read a lot of books, and so did you. What do you got?
Really quick, I read Quick Stops Volume 2, Number 3 from Kevin Smith and Ahmed Rafat. This is the weird, like, hey, did you ever wonder where movies came from? Slice of life story. It's one of the more grounded and fun comics / anything Kevin Smith's written in the last decade that I've like been like, oh, this is actually really like okay. It's a sex thriller. That's what the book is. It's got its usual tropes.
I don't know if I love like the cow
peering
out from the side.
That's the idea, is you're supposed to be like unnerved. This is very much
mission accomplished.
Yeah, this is Smith really like channeling his Red State vibes, but like sandwiched in the View Askew universe. It's interesting, and I appreciate that it's happening to characters that are not necessarily created, that are part of the Askew universe, because Lord knows I don't want him to check in with any more 40-year-old characters from his world if Clerks 3 is an indication, because man, but this is really interesting and fun. It's dark and interesting how we get like the juxtaposition of like your usual kind of like sex comedy and envelope pushing that Smith has been known for within the confines of like just regular people in suburbia. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. It has now taken a turn for the Tusk, and we'll see if it goes really, really ridiculous or if it'll just be a straight up standard, thriller. But I'm intrigued. I will say that the Rafat art looks unfinished. It is very evocative of like a Phil Hester, but without the refinement. It tells the story, and that's the most it can do. Like it is doing the writing is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and unfortunately the art is just kind of carrying it across the finish line, but not. Or it's really more like the art is being carried across the finish line.
Okay.
The art like really could use either more refinement or some kind of like help.
Okay.
Either in inking or colors or something like that. It's just not enough. Like it would be good for like a 6-issue or a 6-pager to just like get in, get out kind of thing.
Yep.
But as like an ongoing multi-issue saga, it's not doing it for me.
Okay, fair. Totally fair.
Yeah, but you read a lot, so let's hear it.
I read Wolverine number 46.
Ah, yes, your favorite Krakoa book.
Yeah, this one had a parental advisory on it.
Good. We got more of that Ben Percy gore.
Yeah, this is Victor Lavelle and Ben Percy with pencils by Corey Smith, which I think is a change. I think she said right now, wondering.
Sounds familiar though.
Probably. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
don't worry about it.
I'm not worried about it. Anyway, so this issue, this was good. This was a good issue. I actually kind of like this one. No, I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, I enjoy Percy's writing, and I don't know enough of Lavelle's work. I know Lavelle was working on Sabretooth, and I just don't care enough about Sabretooth.
And we both quit that book,
but I don't think that's a reflection of Lavelle's work. I think that's just a reflection of me not liking Sabretooth as a character.
Fair, yeah.
So, you know, this series was like kind of like, I was like, all right, you know, I've been on and off again with Wolverine. I might as well finish it out. You know, we'll see where this is going. And this issue kind of gets more into the idea that like Sabretooth clearly misses like Wolverine and when they used to like hang out and be friends.
Okay, all right.
But not in a creepy Joker loves Batman kind of way.
Yeah.
More in just like I have a lot of nostalgia for that.
Right.
And I think we're maybe having fun. But also I do want to kill you. It's
sure.
It's very interesting.
If he wanted to, I mean, like the fact is we're reminded of like the Sabretooth dogging Wolverine on his birthday every year.
Yeah.
That kind of like, if he could kill him, he would. It's more about the game.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so we get like the way in which we get these like kind of like flashback, not flashbacks, is that like Kid Omega's head is being utilized to take control of Wolverine to show him what he wants him to see or what Sabretooth wants him to see, because he's trying to get down into like a vault that Forge has like some weaponry in, so he'd like to get those. So he uses Wolverine to like help him get down there to avoid traps and to get past any sort of guard or whatever. But it shows us like what it might look like with them being like on a mission together. So we flash back and forth between those two things that didn't really happen, but you get that sensation of getting to see them like in their heyday. And like at one point, Kid Omega's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you're really enjoying this. Like I feel like you're getting a lot of joy out of this, like, adventure. And he's like, shut up.
Right.
Like, shut your face.
But does the Predator show up?
It used to be Jeff Shaw. That's what it was.
I think they alternate. That's the idea.
Okay, there you go. I don't remember. I mean, it looks they have a similar style.
Gotcha.
So to me, I'm like, it works either way. No, the Predators not show up, but they should.
Right?
That would be
such a fun.
Be such a good book where it's just like
more issues.
It's freaking Wolverine and Sabretooth, and they're battling it out, and the Predator shows up, and they're like, we need to put this on hold.
Right. Yeah.
We need to put this on hold right now. Obviously, Lavelle's exiles have been trying to get on island to deal with Sabretooth, or to help deal with Sabretooth. So they do manage to find their way to the vault as well. But not before Sabretooth manages to get exactly what he came to get. Right. Which is one of Forge's weapons, which ends up depowering Wolverine.
Oh, no.
Which I'm like,
that's a problem.
You have what?
Yeah, well, they could depower Moira.
Yeah. But now it depowered Wolverine.
So he's just like thud.
Right? He should be.
And oh no, the adamantium's poisoning my bloodstream, because remember that? That's a whole damn story.
See. We haven't seen. That's like literally what happens. Like, that's what happens. Done. Meanwhile, Laura, who had been taken by the other Sabretooth from elsewhere, manages to get hold of something that will allow her to plot her escape.
Good.
So we'll hopefully get to see her show back up. Obviously, nothing's good. Like, well, depending on how everything ends with Fall of House of X, I'm like, I guess she's fine.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be on a team.
Because she's going to be on a team. In fact, everyone in the whole 3-image panel.
Or not, because it depends on how things are going to end.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
maybe they never were in trouble in the first place because they rebooted time. Who knows?
Right. But yeah, I actually enjoyed this issue just because we got a little bit more of, Sabretooth and Wolverine kind of talking more, or like just doing their thing.
I love it.
Yeah,
I always like that.
And of course there was violence.
Oh no,
gore. Not as much gore as in the past, but there was still gore. But I was like, oh, Wolverine's depowered. Okay.
Oh, I'm less interested. Hulkzilla, happy April Fool's Day. I got no pranks, but I do have appreciation to offer. You guys keep being the highlight of every Monday. Well, thank you, Hulkzilla. Thanks for being here.
I forgot one other thing.
What's up?
The most important thing for me.
Oh no.
Oh no, that was something else. Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Are you sure?
Yes, it's a different Ben Percy book.
Oh.
I'm combining my 2 Ben Percys.
Rami Darwish, happy 10th anniversary, guys, 4 of which I have been a viewer.
Yay!
You've introduced multiple books to me and creators, so thank you. Well, thank you, Rami, for being here, and thanks for sticking around with us
Thank
for
you
that
so
long.
much. Appreciate it.
Matthew Terlaga, thanks for your generosity. The Jackpot Black Cat book was so unnecessary, making MJ the 5th superhero in Marvel to have luck-based powers is so original, not to mention the fact that I forgot she even had powers. I'm constantly reminded of the fact that she has powers. In fact, don't forget also that she has powers that if she rolls, she has to roll like a jackpot, because she said that in the 70s. But she has to roll these jackpot powers like it's one of those crank jackpot cash machines. What the hell is that called?
A slot machine?
Slot machine. Thank you. I don't go to casinos very much. But yeah, she has to roll her powers. But she could get like 3 skulls, something, and it'll kill her. Like every time she uses powers, she's rolling them bones that could kill her.
Wait. What?
Yeah.
Power her. Does she have actual powers, or does she have like machine-based powers? Like
it's a thing that she got from another reality with Paul. I don't know. I refuse to learn more about it.
Fair. Okay.
All I know is she has a thing on her arm that she can't take off, or maybe she can. Who cares? And she keeps using the powers, and she's now finally Jackpot, and she's wearing this ugly, complicated costume. And she and Spider-Man are constantly teaming up in the series to kind of like go, hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo. I'm like, all right, that's enough. I'll go read the other book now. Thank you. But yeah, she could die. The point is she could die. Loatro Medina, I was half expecting a joke stream, maybe Sal dramatically rating Marvel quotes. I wouldn't waste my time doing that, nor yours, folks. Canopied with Bowers, appreciate the message at the top of the show. Happy to do it, man. It's important, and we'll reinforce it at the bottom of the show. Days Toys, thanks for generosity. Hi, y'all. Always happy to or glad to catch you live. I wanted to thank you for it helping get my partner into comic books.
Woo, that's awesome.
So far, their favorite episode of Back Issues has been the Onslaught episode. All right, that's fun. Like, trying to slowly get them into Krakoa era. Well, I'm excited for them and their exposure to that world.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, it is. I read Superior Spider-Man #5 from Mark Bagley and Dan Slott. Spider-Man and
it's a fun cover.
It is a fun cover. It's Mark Bagley, of course. Bagley doing the interiors. Spidey and Ock teaming up to fight a villain that was invented by Dan Slott that was part of the like big time era, who was marginalized by or brutalized actually by Superior Spider-Man when he was Ock, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. 2 of them teaming up to fight them. Meanwhile, Bailey is in the background being like, I exist! And I have fans who tell Sal to keep reading his book, even though he never will. And but finally, something interesting happened to Bailey that I actually might read about, which is that Ock was like, because in this series, there has not been a Superior Spider-Man. It's Ock and Peter working together. And because and for reasons that that make sense in the plot, but if you talked about them out loud, would make a funny episode of Back Issues. Peter is wearing the Superior Spider-Man costume, but it's still Peter in the costume.
Okay.
And around issue 2 or 3, Doc Ock did try to Superior Spider-Man Peter again. He's like, nah, I'm in your head. And he's like, nope. And they were like, okay, never mind. So Ock's like, all right, fine. I'll get into Bailey and I'll be the Superior Spider-Boy. But it was also like, I don't think it was this Ock. I think it was like spiders or something. It was like spiders. It was like a defense mechanism that Ock set up in his lab. And I was like, that's funny. All right. Yeah, you can make Bailey the Superior Spider-Boy. That'd be fine. There
you go.
I don't care. Moving on. But the art's fun, and the it's Bagley doing his thing. I will say this. I love the design of Spider-Boy. I think I just like what he looks like. I like the fun, bright colors, and I like his design. I like how lanky he is. Just a fun look.
Right.
That I'll never care, and you'll never make me.
Okay, fair.
But the book's fun. It's actually it is the most fun in continuity Spider-Man book you'll read.
Okay.
Anyway, what do you got?
I read X-Force #50.
X-Force #50, the end of X-Force?
The end of Ben Percy's X-Force, because I believe there's another one coming out. But
what? Yeah, there is. There's a 90s X-Force coming out.
There's a new one coming out.
Yeah, of course.
But X-Force.
End of Krakoa X-Force.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. Ben Percy and Robert Gill on this one. This is like let's like tie up some loose ends here.
We're better.
The loose end being Beast.
Yeah.
You know. We got Good Beast trying to track down Bad Beast.
Who is real Beast?
Yep. He's teamed up with Wonder Man.
Yep.
Who's a pacifist.
Yeah. Stars and oh god, shut up, Simon. Is he insufferable in this like he always is?
No.
Heck no! Wait.
No,
it's
they're
always
X-Force is like, okay, we got to kill this Beast because they don't know,
right?
They don't know that he's actually okay.
That he's our Beast.
And so like,
don't call him Good Beast, call him Stars and Garters.
Stars and Garters, that's what I call him.
Give him a terrible Mary Jane costume and make him a new character.
Stars and Garters. Stars and Garters, Beast and Wonder Man have like a speedboat essentially, and they're being chased down by X-Force in their like, techno-organic ship. So Beast is like, listen, I know you're a pacifist and I totally respect that.
But I need you to
you're gonna need
power
to do
up
something here,
right.
man.
Yeah. It was fun that we were on the cover together, but now I need you to actually be useful.
Yeah.
Otherwise we could have sold more units of Spider-Man and I teamed up.
So there's like all these like, missiles coming at them, and Simon's like, listen, I'm not gonna attack the ship.
Oh my
god. But I will take out the missiles.
Great. That is the literal least you could do.
So he does. But the ship, the boat ends up sinking anyway.
Naturally.
So they dive down, and he's immediately grabbed by Bad Beast.
Oh no. Who's real Beast?
Yes, by Beast. And Beast like punctures his tank and like just shoots him away. So he's gone for now. He just goes.
Well, Wonder Man?
Yeah, he just goes.
Isn't he energy? Does he need to breathe?
I don't know.
All right.
What?
It just seems weird. He's all right.
So
now it's just beasts.
Yes, they're underwater, and I was like, are we about to do the which one do I shoot?
Oh no. Yes, from the X-Force, they're like, oh no, it's Beast. Which one? Is that really what we're doing?
I mean, so
you know what? Hang on a second.
What?
I have a show device that is perfect for this scenario. I think you know exactly what I'm reaching for.
I'm actually not sure, but they're both over here.
Yeah, that's exactly. No, yeah. The one in your right hand is the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, listen. Hear me out here. Okay, listen. Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think this has to be a new feature for the show.
No, it does not. We are not children.
Aren't we?
We're talking about comic books.
Now get back to our serious comic book show.
It is. X-Force is like, all right, so we can't find anybody. We gotta do something about this. Meanwhile, their fight didn't go unnoticed. Orcus is coming.
Oh, geez. So like all points are converging on Beasts.
Yeah. Well, and X-Force.
and they're underwater. That's great because Wolverine can't be like, I know which one's the real Beast.
So X-Force is like, all right, we need to deal with this whole thing. And what's the name of that character? Who is it? What's her name? I'm gonna get it. June Wei, which was someone who had showed up in X-Force before. She works for Orcus, so they're gonna take care of that too.
Yeah.
So most of X-Force is going to deal with that. And
right.
Wolverine's like, I've already suited up and I'm going underwater and I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna kill them both.
I'm gonna kill all the beasts.
Bye.
All right,
so
fine.
Off he goes. The rest of X-Force does their thing. Beast and Stars and Garters Beast have a conversation in which he's like, listen, I'm sure you're here to like try to convince me that there are my ways, but hear me out. And he tries to explain all the reasons why he is the way he is and like what he's doing, and that like it's all in service of mutants, and like I'm going to put them in like a black hole sort of Krakoa situation, but then like what I'm going to do is defeat Orcus and then free them, but like a lot of people are going to die, and maybe that's okay because that's what we have to do because I'm smart like that.
Right. And also like, well, does he even bring up like the resurrection protocols or anything where it's like they'll die, but like we'll bring it back or something?
Well, no, he means like humanity.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
And Good Beast or Stars and Garters is like, yeah, no, see, like you that's not no, like you need to understand that like you need to have better perspective on this whole situation. And like I clearly can't let you do this. Like you've gone down the wrong path.
Right, yeah.
Like it doesn't work at all. Bad Beast is like, But like I noted that they both literally have the same costume on, right? Like, they both have the shorts.
Look this. Oh, they still have the same.
They both have the same shorts, except Stars and Garters had glasses.
Right.
And I was like, those glasses are going to be destroyed.
Yes, or swapped.
Oh
my god.
And so he's like, that's a shame. Like, okay. I love this like moment of like negative Beast, like like
Real
the
Beast.
real Beast being like, oh, Hank.
Yeah. Oh, if only I was so young and naive.
Yeah. And he's like, no, but like you clearly you destroyed all the other like versions except for me. Like,
Right.
that must mean something.
must-
He's just like, no.
No, I didn't regard you. And it's like, no, secretly you did, though.
No, it wasn't that he didn't regard me. He's just like, that was when I was my happiest, and I just couldn't destroy that. But like, that's not, you
Oh.
weren't my best.
How dare you?
Right? Yeah. I love that.
Mhm.
It's so good.
Yeah. This is good. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah,
Beast
yeah,
faces
yeah,
himself.
yeah. And he's like, and then like Stars and Garters Beast is like, you're acting like a Magneto once did. And Beast like goes and pulls like a lever, and she goes, Magneto was right. And hopefully 1 year from now they'll say the same of Beast. And I'm like, and they
Well,
will
they
not.
won't.
They will not, Beast. I'm sorry, man. Nope.
Magneto was right is a joke. Magneto was right is a meme, Beast. You're not
Well-
supposed to take that literally.
Well, that's the problem, right? So they have a big fight. He activates the machine. He's like, oh God, I gotta stop the machine. And like, Beast is like, I'm gonna kill you, Hank.
Yeah.
Like, I can't with you anymore, right? Sentinel shows up. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. What we're here for is
Yeah, get out of the way, plot. Get out of the way. Fall effects.
Yeah,
Iron Man and stuff. Ah.
Yeah, Iron Man or Stark Sentinel, Colossus like has a moment where he's just like,
Hey, I wasn't really in Krakoa.
I owe everybody a debt. I'm gonna go down swinging if I have to. And I'm
Fine.
like, sure.
You're not gonna
like
die,
Percy
Colossus.
didn't have enough time to deal with Colossus.
He's like, I wanted it to end on a 50, but I also really needed like another 3 issues.
Yeah, well, and like no one's gonna. I don't think anyone's gonna ever deal with that. And somebody will eventually one day remember that like Colossus should have some PTSD from what happened to him.
When Colossus like settles down with someone, it's going to be a character from like from like this, and they're
When
going to
Tom
go.
King decides to write an 8-issue mini about
Yeah, when Tom King is
Colossus.
lured away from DC after the DC universe at James Gunn's helm inevitably ends, and an hour of wolves and shattered shields as the age of fucking DC comes crashing down, Tom King will write a friggin' 8-issue miniseries about how Colossus is sad.
Yeah,
And they'll make a reference to it.
exactly. So whilst the two beasts are fighting, the glasses are broken,
Naturally.
and Wolverine shows up.
He's like, I gotta kill one of you, or both of you.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, cool. Like, I came down to end this, but you guys are already killing each other. Works for me.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately, Hank, like, Stars and Garters is like, Logan, he built a black hole machine. We gotta stop it. It has to be stopped. And then like, our beast launches himself at like Logan. So I was like, okay, well, we immediately know who the bad guy is because for a minute, I guess that beast is like, oh no, Logan might actually figure out how to stop this thing by wrecking it or calling someone. I have to stop this.
Yeah.
And they do attempt to contact the folks up top to be like, hey, like, you have to stop this thing.
Yeah.
It's like fueled by a nuclear whatever. And it's gonna cause a problem. So Wonder Man's like, I got this.
Oh, you're gonna do something now, Simon.
Yeah,
Welcome
like
to the party,
I'll
pal.
sacrifice myself to
He loves to do that too.
to fix this.
Those are the two things you know him for.
Right?
Is not doing anything and sacrificing
Like,
himself.
and I love this because like Wolverine's just like trying to fight and also get a hold of Domino and be like, you have to do something. Hello? Can anyone hear me? Freaking God, you idiots.
Mm-hmm.
So Beast like puts on Beast puts on like his Krakoan suit, and he's like, I'm the last hope for mutant kind, and inevitably like Stars and Garters is like, don't protect your weapon, like you need to protect your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, what are you doing? So he launches himself up to like make sure, presumably, that no one is destroying his missile. He sees Wonder Man going for it, and like he's like, Simon, what are you doing here? Because obviously he hasn't seen him.
Yeah, in a while.
And he's like, this is for old friends. He's like gonna fly into it, and he's like, don't, it's fine. And so like instead, like that beast, our beast, like takes care of it
and sacrifices
and
himself.
Presumably vaporizes.
Oh.
We don't have a body.
Oh.
And then here's where this book completely falls apart for me. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
great.
I don't call this sticking a landing because we 100% like deserved another page in this.
Mhm.
But like we see that happen, and then it literally just wraps up in text boxes where they're just like, so yeah, Beast died.
Yep.
Right? Like,
Real Beast or Stars and Garters is now Beast Prime.
Yep, they took care of the Sentinel. Orcus doesn't know that they're there, so nothing will happen to the people. It's fine. The other Beast moved in with Wonder Man,
Oh,
so that's fine.
he's just not on X-Men.
He's over there. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Quentin mind wiped the Orcus agents, and
the book's over.
Yeah, and we keep evolving and surviving. Let's go.
Oh,
and I'm like,
what?
We just spent issues,
yeah,
years dealing with Beast. To have it wrapped up like this, I didn't feel super satisfied by this, except for the fact that presumably the right Beast lived.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that once you've like introduced this concept, inevitably a writer will take that down the line and say like, no, it wasn't him.
Right.
Which is garbage.
Either that or they'll bring back Real Beast as Dark Beast. It'll just be really annoying.
Sure.
Like, Real Beast will be part of the bad guy team.
Yeah.
Like, one day they're going to be like, how are the bad guys able to outmaneuver us every step of the way?
Yeah.
And then there'll be a shot of Evil Beast with like little glasses. He's like, whoa, I'm part of their team.
Stars and Garters will be like, it feels like I'm like fighting myself. And then they'll be like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's him.
Right. And he'll dye his fur so that he'll look a little more distinctly different or something. That sucks.
Yeah. I wasn't super thrilled with the ending of this. Like, I liked a lot of like everything leading up to it. I wish we'd had more time for like Stars and Garters Beast and this Beast
to hash it out.
But it feels like maybe what Percy's message is here, and I hope it doesn't get lost for future writers. And I'm not talking right immediately, because I think immediately we are getting good Beast.
Yes.
In the next iteration after post Krakoa, it seemingly is nice Stars and Garters Beast.
It's a shame
he's he's the 90s, and that's what they want right now.
That's true.
But I'm hopeful that people down the line past that will remember that what it feels like Percy was saying was that, like, no, it's not that in Beast is this like scary, negative, horrible human being or mutant being, but that Beast in that final moment decided to help his friend.
Yes.
And that, like, that Beast is intrinsically good, even if he fought against it. Like, that's really what I think he's saying.
I get it. And I like that.
But we just didn't get enough of it. And for it to wrap up in that one page just felt kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
That said, there is an amazing, great letter at the end from the artist and from Percy. And there was a section of it that made me feel, I'm not going to lie, it was a little like, for me. Because it made me feel really good about our take on this whole thing from the get-go, where he talks about how he first got this job.
Yeah.
And that, you know, he was going to see Halloween Reboot and his phone rang and it was Hickman. He was about to go in. He's like in the lobby of the theater. And he's like, hey, I'm relaunching X-Men. And like, I think you'd kill it on X-Force. Right?
Yeah.
And so they went to the summit. And Hickman had a new normal of, or had written out a Bible. So he did have like his Bible.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody like pitched their ideas. And what Hickman had said was like, here's the garden. What do you want to grow in it? And every book in the X line should have a distinctive vibe and personality so that there'd be something for every fan.
Yes.
And I was like, that's what we were saying.
Yeah.
That's what we've been saying this whole time, is that's where Krakoa came from. And it worked. Like, it worked. And I was like, that's great to see. Like, that's literally what it was. It was a room full of creators coming together going like, okay, how do we make it all come together? And I think that's beautiful.
I agree.
And it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So as much as I didn't love the ending to that, I loved this letter.
Yes.
And overall,
and the message of the ending was still, it's not like it was really frustrating. Like, Evil Beast beat Good Beast because cynicism beats hope. But it's like, no, there's something there.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I take it in stride. I still enjoyed reading X-Force. X-Force was one that like I was a little on again, off again until like inevitably like I was just on this book. Especially the more we were doing with Beast, I was like so hooked by that. So I think that's why I feel a little let down. I'm sure like as time passes, as we all tend to soften on some things, I will soften on this as well. But for right now, it's kind of like,
oh yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. But at least it didn't end up in a, who do I kill?
Yeah.
No. Like we were so leading to that. And he was like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really glad. Raidu, happy Monday. I've been rereading the novel House of Leaves in between comics, and it got me thinking, what are your favorite examples of comic playing with the format, like page layout, panels, etc.? I mean, the one that immediately comes to mind is when Snyder and Capullo launched Batman, and one of the like issues where Batman's in the labyrinth of the Court of Owls, and the whole book is like you have to turn the book. And I remember that was around the time of like Comixology being really prevalent, and so that was hard to actually turn the comic. It was very much like a celebration of the physical medium, and you have to turn it in order to follow along. And Capullo was really like swinging for the fences on that one, like with his demonstration of perspective and space and character, and in a mainstream book like that with a big push behind it, it was like that was really cool. That was one example that I always think of when I'm like, hey, you really played with the format there, way to go.
I often think of Batwoman
Mm-hmm.
and Doom Patrol, Nick Darrington. Really, talk about swinging from the fences. Just some of the like most incredible panel layouts I've ever seen. Just amazing art, very meta, so good.
Oh yeah,
so
agreed.
Good.
Darrington is just worth watching. Charzy, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Pop. Hi.
Hello.
Have either of you ever heard about the Batman movie plagiarism lawsuit coming to an end? If so, any thoughts? Love your videos. Thanks, Charzy. I did hear a little bit about that. I expected it to be bupkis. It was. Who'd have thought? What a shock. Somebody accused like Matt Reeves of stealing an idea of theirs that was eventually the Batman. The Batman is literally like 3 different Batman comics at once, so it wasn't their story in the first place. It's just like, yeah, duh. And that happens. Like, that happens a lot. And so I'm not surprised. Thorn Identity, thank you very much for your generosity and for being here as always. You did not judge it too harshly because that is not a thing for that book. I don't recall which book you're referring to. I'm sorry. You don't have to super chat for the answer, but please elaborate some more. But thank you.
Well, it was about a half hour ago. What were you talking about?
I don't know what I'm talking about. Might have been Spider-Man. Flywheel Shyster, no need to read aloud. Well, I am. So much I would like to say, but too many words for too many things. Too many thank yous. All peace, always, amigos.
Oh,
thank you, Flywheel, for always being there for your support, man. We really appreciate it. I appreciated you. Revolutionary Dragon. Hey, Comic Pop, do you think with solicits being a bit spoilery, do you think solicits should stay with comic shop owners and not given to the public? On one hand, I understand the idea of having like solicits. Like, I was surprised that solicits were a thing people got. I always thought that was like something for the comic. Like, when I remember going to the comic shop more regularly as a more seasoned reader. As a kid, I would just go, but as a young adult, going to comic shops and seeing the previews magazine available, and like, oh, you could just get that, and I'm like, what? Shouldn't that just be internal? Like, doesn't have data in it? And it's like, no, it just tells you what's coming out, and then you can order it and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Too much has to do with, I think, the scheduling.
Yeah,
like it's. When you think about it, it's like, okay, so the publisher needs enough time to get X amount printed, right? So they need to have a cutoff date for their order. So the comic book stores need to give them a good few weeks or months or whatever whatever their time frame is in order to go like, okay, this is what I need, which means that the comic book shops need to know what they think the reader response is going to be. So it's like, it just keeps getting backed out, which is when things start getting spoilery, right? Because they're trying to sell you something
that's like months
out because it's like, that's the timeline they have.
Exactly. So, I mean, on one hand, I think a lot of like weekend or Wednesday warriors rely on that. And so I think it's just part of the system now, or at least it's been part of the system. It's a necessary factor that people make decisions on. It certainly would help me. Like, if I remember as a kid or as a young adult getting that and being like, oh, this is amazing. I know what I could get months away from when they come out.
Right. But I also understand the idea that, like, because we've seen events ruined from that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, just the fallout from events or story arcs. Or when a creative team leaves a book and then the new creative team's on, I'm like, well, I know what happens then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough. It's a question. It's a constant balancing act between like about being informed and just enjoying your media.
Yeah.
And there's no other industry like it, of course. Jesse Gonzalez, thanks for your support.
Thank you.
Ray Farr, ComicPop Woo. Hope you're good. Been loving all the content across the three channels lately. Thanks for keeping me sane while writing a Spanish paper. Well, good luck. Bienvenidos. I don't know. Buena suerte. There you go. 3 channels: ComicPop Returns, and ComicPop Plays. And Doc, thanks, Doc. Finally made it to the Chris Claremont era of X-Men and starting to get into the Phoenix Saga. Storm is my favorite so far, of course, and Beast is blue with no explanation. They'll explain it. They'll explain it, but it'll take some time. But yeah, Storm, especially back then, was like really given a good push. They were like, we got something here with Storm. Like, give her a lot to do. obviously she'll lose her powers. And
Right,
she'll
right, right.
have to,
Naturally.
still keep going and keep being cool. And,
Mhm.
It's exciting. It's an exciting time. Back then, it's about 40 years ago. Thanks a lot, man.
Right.
Yeah, more books.
I read God's number 6 this
Of course.
week. 6 of
great.
8. We got 2 more left.
Oh no.
Sucks. This was so good.
Your book got canceled. That sucks.
Listen, this is Jonathan Hickman, Valeria Schiti, Marta Gracia. Incredible team.
Yep.
Incredible team.
Yet another example of like, if this
just-
was like from YouTube to comics, if this was 2017, 2018, this book would be a big hit.
It is in my heart. This book is a huge hit in my heart.
Hickman.
No.
Jonathan. No.
This was so good. Listen, folks who love magic systems and watching or just stories about magic in general and the process of it. I know that sounds really weird because it sounds like I'm pitching a business. But I'm not.
Or a class.
But I'm like, yeah, then come on down to Magic 305. This such a good issue. Literally, you're watching a character who's going to have to go through a series of things in order to meet the tribunal. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yep.
They happen to be alive.
Wait, the tribunal?
Yeah.
The living tribunal?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. I just as an outsider, because I stopped reading this book, not for any particular reason. I was just like, I don't need to read this. I was like, Tiffany will tell me about it later. But
no, you do need to read this. It's beautiful.
I know, and I'll read it all at once. Like the fact I was like, I know I'm gonna be able.
And it's like sexy looking.
Yeah.
Skeety can't help
Skeety's
himself.
good stuff. But I love that because somebody asked me, I think yesterday or the day before, somebody was like, "Hey, I know Tiffany's reading Gods, but are you reading Gods? And if so, how do you feel about like the person who asked the question said basically like it feels like it's something else. Like it feels like it's not part of the Marvel universe." And I was like, I understand that impulse because it is, first of all, it's Hickman, and Hickman's like, I got new stuff. And here you go. Here's some stuff that didn't exist before that now is, and it's super important.
Right.
And like normally, I'm very critical of that, and I'm still critical of it. I'm not going to not make fun of Hickman for it. But when he weaves it into it, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, like, and here's the thing: this should feel like it's not in the Marvel universe,
right?
Because it's magic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's on the fringe,
well,
and that's really what this is.
And
it's
we
like,
know that like they don't have regard for magic, like the hires up.
Well, for sure, but he's trying to tell a different style of story. Like if you only ever read Doctor Strange into Shambhala, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What is this? Like, how does this fit into the main Marvel universe?
Yeah, it's
right?
like, well, first of all, half of you did read into Shambhala because Marvel won't put it into any kind of collection. I think it might be in one of the Epic collections.
Well, if it is, you should read it. But it's like if that was your only exposure, you would think that it had not like that Doctor Strange really wasn't like in much of the Marvel universe.
Oh no, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what this story feels like. We are very much telling a story about brand new characters set against the Marvel universe, and occasionally things that will show up.
Yeah.
And at first you might see that as like, oh no, like what that feels like is like Hickman just trying to come up with stuff so that he can
do whatever story he wants to
tell.
Or
like get a check. You know what I mean? Because we have definitely
accused creators of creating characters like just for doing that. Yeah.
Right. But the way in which he utilizes his characters, it feels more like he's like, I made these characters because A, these are the personalities I wanted, and they weren't quite like other characters in the Marvel universe.
Yes.
And B, I don't have to be precious with them.
Right.
Like whatever I do to them, it's fine.
Yeah, and people won't like send like dead chickens to my house or something.
Right. Or it's not like I'm going to like forever change the way that people have to deal with them. Mm-hmm. It's just here they are, and I get to do whatever I want because I made them.
Yeah.
So he's like almost treating it like it's an independent book in Marvel.
Right.
Which is why it only has 8 issues.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Pre-order your books, folks.
It legitimately is incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Aiko feels really, really horribly about what she did to Mia, which was essentially pulling her into the natural order of things, which cut her off to ever being able to like wield magic and be, part of the avatar of the powers that be. Right? Okay. Like she can't use magic now because of this. And Aiko feels like just wretched about this. And so she attempts to get to the tribunal because she's like, the tribunal can undo this.
Yeah.
And so I'll go there. And what we see, this entire issue is her going there.
Right.
She gets,
and because she's not Adam Warlock, it's not easy.
no, well, no, she could go another way, but because she's not doing this for the natural order of things, she wants to go another route. But she's like, I'm not here on professional business as a representative. I'm here for something personal.
Yeah, this isn't for work. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, you know, if you're doing something for work, you don't use your work laptop. Exactly. You don't use your work phone, right? You do it on your own time because you don't want to do that. You don't do that, people. It's actually a good lesson. If you are working on something, try not to do it on your work laptop.
Because that work laptop is proprietary. And everything you make on it might be beholden to your company.
Exactly. But that's where I'm talking about, like, the process of it all, and like Hickman establishing his rules of this, like, his corner of magic, his pocket, right? So it's like they need to take a journey, and so like a carriage shows up, and it's like the driver of it is like a minotaur bull man, right? And it's also pulled by like 2 oxen style. And I was like, so wait, are we doing like a Pluto Goofy thing?
Right,
all right,
like,
that's fine. Not thinking about it.
Don't think about it. Well, no. It's like there are ox. Those oxen are pulling it, but that ox man is either a member of Rintra's race or he's a new man made by the High Evolutionary.
Right, but there's like another one there too. There's a couple of them, right? So they go, and like the payment is like 2 coins. And inevitably, like, they come to another, like, the next leg of their journey is they got to take a boat. So it's like, it kind of gives you Reverse Styx vibes, right?
Yeah.
And her guide has like a free pass essentially, but it's like, what are you going to give me?
Right. Because everything has a price.
Right. And you know, it's like, well, what do you want? And the idea here is every time she faces like a question like this, there's 2 options. And like the first option is like, I either want your left eye, or you'll have to tell the truth for the next 24 hours. And she's like, well, I obviously
I'll take the truth one.
The truth. And her guide's like, whoa. Think about this for a minute, because you don't know what's going to be asked of you in the coming questions.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what if one of the like options is something really, really horrific, or tell a lie for the next 24 hours? Then your brain's going to explode trying to figure that one out. And she's like, I think I'm going to be okay.
Right.
Right. And so, like,
I'm a Hickman character wearing all white, so I'll be all right.
Right. And so, like, she ends up facing like several more challenges, right? One of them is like, you know, the secret that, like, I tell a secret that no one knows, or, you know, give her back teeth.
Yeah.
That's
a secret.
The secret, right? It's like, you know, maiming an innocent, or maybe some blood, right? So it goes on and on like that.
Okay.
Until inevitably she comes to like someone who is essentially in a position like she's in for the natural order of things, but for the tribunal and for Oblivion, the god we met in an earlier issue, right?
Okay.
And like those 2 are like how the natural order of things wins God, who is the avatar of the powers that be, or the powers that be, are at odds. They hate each other.
Okay.
But like the Tribunal and Oblivion are at odds, but they don't hate each other. They don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
They refuse to acknowledge one another.
Okay.
Like literally, they're like children.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, tell them that I said this. You're right next to each other. They heard you. They heard you. They heard you. And so we get to see Skeety's version of the Living Tribunal. It's very interesting. It's very like abstract looking.
Cool.
Right? Like he's like he looks like a giant statue, and you know, you can see the face up there, but it's like not truly a face.
Yeah.
And that's literally what we do. Like, we have this full conversation.
And he's like, you could have just had Reed Richards teleport you there.
Right. She's like, no, I had to go this route. And so, like, let me tell you that the turn at the end of this is brilliant, and I'm not going to ruin it for those of you who haven't read it. Like, what ends up happening at the end of this is fantastic. And this issue, like, I love all the issues. This issue in particular, because again, we've been a couple of issues out now without having Doctor Strange in it. I was like, I could go for another 8 issues of this.
Oh, totally.
Like 100%. I love this world, and I love its like real consequences.
Yes.
And I love, again, that he's playing with characters that are his own. So
you can lose.
There's no safety here.
Exactly.
There's no safety with these characters, because
whether it's for them or for you, knowing that they're going to be okay.
Yeah. So, like, I'm going to treasure the next 2 issues, and maybe one day he'll be able to return.
Yeah.
With it.
I hope so.
But if not, you know, I'll have enjoyed this. And it's a high recommend, folks. If you are a person who likes magic, and magic systems, and maybe you find mainstream comics not your thing because it feels like it's, you know, like either the system's too simple or you're too worried about the super heroics of it all.
Yeah.
This is maybe more up your alley in
Fair.
terms of like a big 2 magic thing.
Totally.
So, love this book.
Yay.
And it's gorgeous.
Right.
Like I said, like it's just, you know, it is just a
Top of
sexy
their game
looking
for
book.
Skitty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikki T, I'm a little confused on something. Tiffany, is Xavier just off the board or is he dead again? So hard to keep up on what he's doing these days.
And what
he's
he's
not
doing?
dead.
No, he's not dead. He's not dead. He is off the board. In fact, he's in a very hidden away, no place with a team.
Mm-hmm.
We will get into that.
Therio got a rage. Thanks for your support. Much love to you both. My favorite books right now are Immortal Thor, Avengers, Vengeance of Moon Knight, Ultimate Spider-Man, Blade, and Titan Comics is canon. Conan, hoping Doctor Strange picks back up for me. Happy 10th, Rage On, will do. Yeah, Doctor Strange, good book. Brandon Foley read Ultimate Spider-Man 1 and really liked it. Haven't read a ton of Spider-Man before, so are there any specific runs you'd recommend to read? If you like this Spider-Man, you're going to enjoy J. Michael Straczynski, creator of Babylon 5's Spider-Man run. That, of course, you can read essentially JMS's run from volume 1. You can skip Skin Deep and Sins Past, and you're good to go. Those are your only 2 volumes. You can just you can literally just drop them, and you don't have to worry about them. And of course, One More Day, but he didn't write that really. So that's a book. That's a run that's similar to an adult Spider-Man. It's the closest thing to an adult Spider-Man you're going to get in recent years, which is to say within 20 years. Ultimate Spider-Man proper was a good run. Good long run, and you watch a more emotionally mature Peter Parker than the main one in Amazing Spider-Man Today, so you can pick up that series as well. You'll enjoy that. Or if you want any emotionally mature or at least interesting Peter Parkers, you read any book by Roger Stern, Peter David, or J.M.D. Mateus. Those are the writers you want to follow on Spider-Man without any blemishes. So check those out as well. Sean D, hi Sal, and I just finished Spawn the Animated Series. That's your twitch.tv/ComicPop reference. Yeah. Just finished Spawn the Animated Series. Does Al ever get his humanity back in the comics because the show it just ends? Also, hope you're both good. Thank you very much, Sean D. Yeah, don't watch Spawn for any definitive ending. If you want an independent comic book series from fledgling Image that is also an animated series that has a better ending than the comic book, you might watch MTV's The Max for that. But as far as Spawn's concerned, yeah, Spawn, Al eventually gets his humanity, kind of, but there's a twist to it, of course. There's a reveal about what he really did, why he's in hell and stuff like that, but then it changed. And let's just say there is no happy ending for Al. Al never gets a happy ending. But he's also still headlining his book, so you can still read the ongoing adventures of Spawn today. And Spawn number 351. Ray Farr, check out his fart gun. It's going to pay off big time. I'd say it will. Kevin Kruger, has DC ever told the origins of the Lazarus Pits, and why does Alan Moore hate Grant Morrison? There are plenty of write-ups about Alan Moore and Grant Morrison if you just Google it.
I think the idea of the origin of that.
Yeah, right. What is the origin of Alan Moore hates Grant Morrison? But as far as the Lazarus Pits, they've explained that as well. I believe there are, Snyder explained that they were kind of like a derivation of Dionysium. There's all kinds of explanations for the Lazarus Pits, but there's no like clear, definitive like here is what the Lazarus Pits are, unless you count like. I think
obviously there was Larazosaurus's.
Yeah, and they all died, and their bones became the goop that you use to keep Rachel Gould around.
Obviously,
naturally. But as far as Alan Moore, Grant Morrison, I don't recall. I'm sure that I don't care.
Lazosaurus.
If you just Google
there we go.
Yeah, but if you Google it, there are write-ups. I've read them and I've not retained them. Matt Fisher, thank you very much for generosity. I thought the same thing about Wonder Man while reading the issue. Lol, has Ethan ever recovered from DC Heroes making a second son in Final Night 2? In Final Night, yeah, he forgot about that. There's no way he'll remember that. For April Fools, tell Ethan you're doing Bloodlines. Happy prank day. Yeah, I'm sure he will not. I want Ethan to show up to shooting, and the last thing I need to do is tell him it's going to be redoing an episode that he already didn't enjoy doing. Sick, happy 10 years. Been watching for 7 or 8 years. You've been kept me into comics when I couldn't always read them. Keep up the great work and have some Coke. Thank you very much. Or
cake.
Sorry, I'm so used to seeing those significant letters together. But thanks, Sick, and we'll appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Matt Fisher, P.S. Can Tiffany please do her Joker impression and say you killed Captain Clan?
I don't have a Joker impression.
I know, right?
You do.
I guess. It's just Mark Hamill, but bad.
Yeah, do it.
No.
You do yours.
I'm not a monkey. I don't just do stuff because people demand it.
I don't have one.
Right? I don't know. Have you done it?
No.
No. If you did, it's on your Arkham streams that you can find on
Maybe I
youtube.com
did.
at ComicPop
I think
Plays.
I just did what you do. I think I just did an impression
It's
of
just,
Sal
you
doing.
killed Captain Clown. It's just what he says. Real Satherby,
No, you do it
yo,
much.
longtime fan, first time caller here. Just wanted to leave this message to thank you guys for broadening my knowledge of comics as I write my own. Well, congratulations and good luck to you, Real Satherby.
No, you do it more extreme than that.
Oh, I did it as well as I'm going to do it.
Like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
I'm not gonna
I
do
get too embarrassed.
That's fair. Jesse Gonzalez, ComicPop Rules. Happy birthday. Thanks a lot, Jesse. It's not really my birthday. It's the channel's birthday. And,
Yeah.
and then another channel.
Happy birthday, Sal.
Thanks. It's
Screw
not my
I'm
birthday.
gonna confuse everybody.
I don't know why somebody made a Reddit thread a couple of weeks ago where they were like, Sal's birthday's today. Happy birthday. And I'm like, who screwed this up?
I think that's very sweet. That
I
anyone would wanna
appreciated it.
Do that.
And I'm like, where did they find that? Like, where did they think that? Not that where they find it out. My birthday's June 1st. So there you go. Girk Pectus,
you write that down.
You recommend any funny comic books for April Fool's Day? I love Tiny Tita. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean, but I'll tell you, just read Scud the Disposable Assassin. Marlon SG, you guys are great. Thanks for getting me into comics. Well, thank you very much for watching and for trusting us. Curious, whatever happened to the comic shop for the first few episodes? It's still there. It still exists in Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey. Go check it out. Funny Bucks Comics and stuff. We've explained it on live streams and stuff, but like the walls were really thin, and for whatever reason, after like 8 o'clock, it became a haven for motorcycle riders, and so it was just loud and horrible to film there. Also, the heat didn't work all the time, and it was just a really crappy experience working there. And so we're just not gonna. We were like, I would rather shoot at my house. It was a fun set and it's a fun location, but like the hassle was just not worth it. So eventually, we just simulated our own comic book store.
Yeah.
And Skamal says, question for Tiffany, want to read some Ghost Rider, Catch or Blaze? Any good suggestions? Appreciate all you do. Well,
I gotta tell you, I think you just go back to the start of volume 3 of Ghost Rider, pick up the Howard Mackie, Javier Salter's start to it. It's like 1990. Spirit Reborn.
Those are in trade. You can get those now. We have 3 copies of that.
Yeah, I would start there if you for Catch. I just think it's a fun ride and you can get off whenever you want. Yeah. But like some of the most ridiculous things, like you're gonna get the origin. Well, part of his origin. They're gonna retcon it later on, but you're gonna get the start to his origin, right? And you're gonna get a whole bunch of random crossovers because they're trying to push the characters. So like Spider-Man, Captain America, and Venom. Like random X-Men and Venom, like they're all gonna show up in this, and then a whole bunch of ridiculous characters are going to be introduced as well. And then you can just get off.
Yeah. Honestly, my favorite version of Johnny Blaze is in this run. Johnny Blaze is boring and done. That's why they keep reinventing him. The best thing they ever did with Johnny Blaze after making him Ghost Rider was making him Blaze.
Right.
A dude who used to be Ghost Rider who has an enchanted shotgun. That's good enough for me. He looked dope. Now he could be like the old dad. Like someone's, you know what I mean? Like someone's dad that comes to pick up their kid on their motorcycle. And you're like, no, Dad, what are you doing? It's not 1996. that is my Blaze.
Right.
Right. Ghost Rider is and has always been a tattoo.
That's so mean.
Well, thankfully he's not real, so he can't take
I think he does take offense. Yeah, he definitely does.
He's welcome to take it up with me.
You don't want that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, read the Mackie stuff. It's certainly the biggest push for a character that's named Ghost Rider in forever.
Fair.
Right?
Fair.
That wasn't like, what are you doing? Like Garth Ennis did a Ghost Rider run and it was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. I thought it'd be funny if I just did this. The art's great though.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. I read some books.
Yeah, what do you got?
Oh man, I read The Penguin #8.
A character I never thought I'd be hearing so much about.
Yep, Tom King, Rafael de la Torre. The art's fantastic, but so is the writing. Penguin continues to be awesome. Penguin's finally here, done with the flashbacks. Penguin, kind of, there's still some flashbacks, but only to like recent past. But yeah, Penguin has returned to Gotham. He's like all set. He's got the Force of July at his disposal, which is a classic old team of like America themed heroes.
Say Force?
Yeah, the Force of July.
Because Force works.
Yeah, I think we all know that. But the big reveal of like the Penguin and Batman's relationship has been already dropped, and so we could just casually reference it by characters who are aware of it, including Riddler and Batman. It's a great moment from Batman in this, so don't worry, there's still Batman in this book.
Of course.
It's a great series. It's just so well written and so well executed. I will say that there is a sequence, King loves to do this, where like there's a character, especially in this series, where it's like here's a character we're establishing, talking to somebody, and also they have an ongoing monologue where they're thinking about whatever's happening while they're talking about it. And
sure,
there's a Riddler sequence where in every panel that Riddler appears in, which is every panel on the page, Riddler is saying a riddle, and he's also interacting with Penguin and having a conversation. The riddles have nothing to do with what's going on, only they do because Tom King's brilliant. But like, there is a like, I was like, this is I've had enough.
Right.
Like I literally, I saw where it was going, and I skipped all the riddles, and I just read the scene. I'm like, what a great scene! And then I went back and thought about it again, and I'm like, this is like portraying madness. This is Riddler's head. He's always
madness.
Ha, ha, ha. Like it's always Riddler's riddles are running through Riddler's brain all the time.
Sure.
And I'm like, that's fun.
That doesn't surprise me.
Like, because it made me feel like I feel like I looked at the medallion. But it's a great series, and it's and it looks great. It's just worth your money and time. You should be reading this book. It's like, I don't know. It'll get to finish. Unlike Tom King's Batman run, this will actually get to finish.
Perfect. It's perfect.
It's perfect. I'm just catching up with these super chats here. Matt Fisher, serious question. Is there a reason why it's so hard to find a trade of older Ghost Riders like pre-Roberto? The back issue costs are crazy. They are? Because when I look at old Ghost Rider books, especially the ones recommended by Howard Mackey, those things are $1.
Well, I guess it depends on what you're looking for.
It really does. I mean,
and
like,
if you're looking for keys, or
the other thing is like, there's a Daniel Way run that we never talk about.
Yeah.
There is a Cy Spurrier, Danny Ketch run that we never talk about.
Yep.
There is,
and you know
there's
why?
a Jason Aaron
it's
run.
just because for me, like, because I met Mackey's Ketch first, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just hard for me to get into other.
I know. We should revisit that Spurrier one though.
I should. I know. There's a lot of shit there.
But there's a Jason Aaron run of Ghost Rider we never talk about. Like there's a ton of those. So like maybe those are hard to find. I assume it's just because they're out of print, because Marvel doesn't regard Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Supermianen says, read the Aaron run of Doctor Strange thanks to Tiffany, and was wondering if anything important happens in it between it and Kate's run on Doctor Strange.
So the time in between there was like really tumultuous, because it was like Aaron's run ended. A lot of people were like, this was incredible. And then like Secret Empire happened. And so there's literally 4 issues of that. It's not some of my favorite stuff. It's a Secret Spider-Woman book.
Yes, that's right. That was Dennis Hopeless's Doctor Strange, which you can just go ahead and skip.
Which was, no, here's the thing. Like, I think if I reread it now, I wonder if I would feel differently about it, because like we had literally just come off of Aaron, like telling this amazing story for just about Doctor Strange, and Hopeless was like, I got kicked off of Spider-Woman, so I want to put her in this book, and I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on that. So if you're reading it maybe more in a vacuum, it might feel better.
Maybe.
I just wasn't a big fan. Then there's 2, like number 25 and 26, where it looks like it's like, I can't tell if that's the Marvel U logo.
The Marvel Limited run.
Yeah. And then you roll into the Kate stuff. So it's like, you could read that stuff. It's completely up to you. But between, I think, so Kate's run picks up with the like legacy numbering.
Yes.
But post Aaron's like number 20, there's 6 issues that come in between till we get to Kate's stuff. It's up to you.
There you go.
But 4 of them are Italian.
Ugh. So yeah, just skip the first 4.
Or if you're like, you know what, I want to know. I want to know what happened.
Yeah.
But 4 of them are Italian. I feel like some stuff does happen in there, but I'm like,
but do that.
I remember being so annoyed.
Yeah.
And I was not
golden age.
And I was really not a huge fan of Kate's run
you were
on
not.
it. But I feel like
maybe you could read it again.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I didn't mind
the damnation.
His Kate or his Doctor Strange itself was fine. I wasn't thrilled with it because they brought back magic so quickly.
Right.
Remember, they had killed it off.
Yes.
And then they were like, but put it back immediately. And I was like, okay. I guess that's comic books. And then Damnation, I definitely was not a huge fan.
No.
Anyway.
And then you weren't a fan of the Mark Waid run.
It's been a long road.
Lando CS, I'm sure the answer is no, if only because of the lack of visual aids. But is there any chance of Marvel or DC prose novels ever showing up on back issues? Probably not because of the visual aids.
Well, I would also say no because it's going to be longer.
There are longer,
It'd be much longer.
Yeah, there's a book that Ben and I both read called Spider-Man: The Venom Factor, in which Venom actually does get people's brains. And,
I'm sorry, you both read that?
Yeah, irrespective of each other. Like when we were kids, he read it and I read it. I read it because I heard about it. I was like, "Ooh, Spider-Man book," and I don't know why he read it, but yeah, he did when we were kids.
Ben's like, that's badass and cool.
Jesse Gonzalez, have you ever considered doing Spider manga on back issues? No.
I have.
I know, yeah.
I have. I picked up one.
You did. Nikki T, first episode I saw of you was Superman Red Sun. Did not think about how insane ending was until you guys pointed it out. Happy 10 years. Hope for 10 more. Me too, man. Thank you. And I'm glad you dug it. Yeah, that was a crazy ending. It was a lot of fun. I really like that book. Pop Culture Guy 3000, watching this Full Moon Pictures movie called Shrunken Heads, and then the main character kids are reading DC Bloodlines annuals. Happy anniversary. I also saw Shrunken Heads. It sucks. Yeah. I saw it in a theater. Not like when it was first run. It was in a second run theater called the Darris. But yes, I did see Shrunken Heads. And I did notice those bloodlines. I was like, oh, and then that was it. That was the only joy I had during that movie. Sean D, I can imagine seeing Johnny Pennant staring at Sal because he hurt his feelings on stream. Me too, but I could just push him right the hell over. Or have you do it. Since that's his weakness. Mogero.
Oh, no, he fell in garbage.
I found your channel after watching an episode of Cartoonist Kayfabe. Ed was the champion of all comics, RIP. Thanks for watching. So yeah, what else we got?
Obviously, I read Rise of the Powers of X this week. Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I said it like that, so I made fun of myself on that one.
Yeah.
That is written by, I don't know if you've heard of this writer, Kieran Gillen.
What?
With art by R.B. Silva. Man, I like both Fall and Rise.
Yeah.
Rise is
the clear
Rise
favorite.
is the one for me. Look at this cover. I love this cover.
Yep.
So good. Obviously, we're trying to make you think.
Mm-hmm.
You're evoking Powers of 10 and
House of X. Yeah.
House of X from the start. But obviously, oh no, something is different. I actually like how much it kind of looks like it's superimposed over it too.
It does.
Stuff. But like this is the issue where it's like Xavier is going back to the beginning of Moira's life for this one.
Yes.
And he's gonna kill her.
Yeah.
Like that's the plan.
Which I'm really disappointed. I thought it was a misdirect.
But that's not what he was gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Like Xavier's at the end of his rope here. Like he's done. But it's really fun because Moira is like a young girl.
Yes.
Right? Her powers haven't quite
triggered yet.
She plays everything extra safe. Like she doesn't go many places. She stays at home a lot. She's homeschooled because she's like, I can't die.
Yeah.
Before I have to get my before my powers show up. I can't let that happen. So she like runs out and she ends up running into Xavier, which I love because it's him sitting on the bench, right? Or a bench.
A bench, evoking that feeling, but she's a child. But she's
yeah, so she's talking. So like in my head, she's saying all these things, but it's like
from a little girl's voice.
Yeah.
So it's like
just hilarious.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh no, you're here. Something went wrong.
You damn right it did, you evil robot jackass.
Right. This is like Silva does a really like spectacular job here. I love this sequence of like Moira coming to the conclusion that like, oh my gosh, this is the day my gift activates and you came here and it must be for one reason. Right. And I love him standing up and it's like the stand up of a person who is physically and mentally exhausted.
Yep.
Like, okay. Like I am like, I know that you have lived like countless years.
You're older than me, technically.
But still, you're a child and you're a friend. And like, I went against everything that I thought I was meant to do. And here we are.
Yeah.
Like, I love this sequence. I love it so much. And so they're talking while they're doing that. Here's the other part of the story. And the other part of the story is Moira, AI Moira, talking with Enigma,
yes,
who is the Dominion created by Nathaniel Essex. And he's like, well, here's the thing. Like, yes, they're all like the AI, like Nimrod and Omega Sentinel, like she came back and she had the memories of, like, you know, she was like superimposed essentially. Like this Omega Sentinel is been superimposed with memories from a future version of herself, so that they know how to make the Dominion happen faster for them. What they don't know is that when you like join the Dominion, you basically lose like any sort of
identity.
Yeah, they think they're about to join something amazing,
right?
And they're not.
Nope.
He's like, they become like neurons for a god.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's cool. It's a cool description of that.
Yes.
And like, it's like a balloon and something bad happens.
Yeah, it's a good Star Trek metaphor.
But he's like, listen, like I need you to basically not die.
Yep.
And reset everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking what we'll do is like you'll join too, but you'll be like a separate entity within me.
Oh, okay. So you get a
like,
special place.
I'll be like a god, and you'll be seated at my right hand.
Mm-hmm.
And won't that be cool?
Right.
And he's like, or you know, not. Those are your options.
Yeah.
And so she's like, okay. So she accepts it. But since we're telling this story simultaneously while Xavier's in the past,
yeah,
and I don't know how they're treating time travel, because that was obviously on my mind. If you read Flash this past week as well, and you read this, you were thinking a lot about time travel.
Sure.
Because in that, Impulse describes that time travel doesn't work the Back to the Future way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you make a change in the past, it's always been that way.
Right.
There isn't like a separate thing. There's no photograph that fades. It's not how it works. So I'm like, if they're treating it the same way, things are already in motion. Potentially. So not knowing how this book was going to end.
Exactly.
Right? While Xavier is also in the past or in a timeline, obviously they're no place, Sinister, who is in the body of Doug, Cypher, Rasputin 4, and Rachel.
Yep.
Are
Rachel Summers
are in a no space, and they are under siege. So Rasputin's been fighting off as best that she could. Also Mother Righteous is there. Mother Righteous is trying desperately to get out of where she is in order to do whatever she feels like she should be doing. Rasputin hates Sinister of any type, so she's like, no, don't listen to her. She's garbage. And like Cypher's like, yeah, I'm Sinister.
Yeah.
So that will come to fruition, because as they're battling, inevitably, like Cypher ends up revealing that he is in fact Mr. Sinister, and she's like,
crap,
then that means that Xavier's plan is wrong.
Yes.
Because if you helped him come up with this plan, then like this is the wrong plan. He should not kill Moira. So she follows him.
Yes, into the
past. Yeah. And like Cypher's like, that was his plan. Man, that was his plan. Not my plan. That was his plan. I'm not gonna take away from this, but like the Xavier Moira conversation is really incredible, because he's just like, we were friends, and like you freaking made me compromise.
Yes.
Who I was.
Right.
Like
because you told me that there was no other way.
Yeah. And like, and you ended up betraying us.
Yeah.
And he's like, and now I'm like, I'm here to kill a child. Like,
yeah, like, damn you for making me do this, like making me become this.
Yeah. And inevitably this is where Gillen's like, I'm gonna give you a reason for why this is happening. And what it is that she doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
Right? She's like, I want to live. And I'm
willing to do anything to do it.
Right. And I'm trapped. And she's like,
yeah, that's why I'm here.
Right. Like, so like she's like, I tried being a mutant, so now I'm an AI, right? And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting like justification. Like Gillen's like seemingly trying to smooth the path here. And I kind of appreciate this. I don't know if it's a retcon or if it was something they always wanted to have.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that.
Right. Okay.
Well, go ahead.
I thought the gun was a forge gun.
It could be.
To depower her.
But I don't think so.
Right. It isn't.
No.
But I thought it was. I was like, oh, okay. He's going to don't worry, I'm going to kill her. He's like, no, I'm going to make you the Moira you thought everyone like.
No. Because that was not like, okay. So don't forget, Xavier's plan was to the rest of the group. And by the rest of the group, I mean like Mother Righteous and Rachel.
Yeah.
Was I'm going to go talk to her.
Right.
Rasputin figured out
you're going to kill her.
And he's like, I am.
That's right.
And she's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Like, I totally get it. So some people think he's just there to talk.
Right.
Yeah. And so she shows up. Inevitably, Rasputin 4. Like, Xavier's like, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, this is a great line. That like, Xavier is the curator of Xavier, the curator of the dream, is dead. Right.
Yep.
I'm like, yes. And like, she apparently told him at one point that like you can't have a dream if it's like lived or if it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the dream died. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, like you start to really understand why Xavier is where he is right now. So Rasputin does inevitably stop him from doing it, although it's questionable if he was going to do it. I mean, like you can
Yeah, it
see him
seems like
starting to power up the gun, but like I will never know if Xavier would have actually gone through with it.
that's right.
And I think that's kind of neat because he does fire, I guess, but I don't know. It's like powered up, not she stops it. I don't know. I don't think he would have fully done it.
Yeah. To continue the Star Trek references, it's like when Data was going to kill the museum curator, and you know, they were like, "Hey, when we teleported you out of there, when we beamed you out, your phaser was discharged." And he's like, "Oh, maybe it was faulty equipment. You don't know."
Right. But I mean, like you do see him firing, but it's like when you see the gun fire later on, this is like nothing comparatively.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of
maybe it was
like
like a low setting, or maybe it was a different setting.
yeah. So like I like that. I like leaving that
Mhm.
as like a what if. But you know, Rasputin gets like super upset, right?
Yep.
And he's like, "That's fine. I'm gonna bear that." Essentially,
Yep. I'm a jerk forever.
yeah. And he's like, "But that's fine because like I trusted these people. I've trusted this person
Mm-hmm.
who meant everything to me,
Yep.
and it led us to true happiness." And oops.
Mm-hmm.
And inevitably, like he gets another shot because they're followed.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, that's right. No, they're not followed. Xavier like deploys sinister like phantoms
Right.
of some sort to take down Rasputin. He's like, "No, I've decided. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Here I go." Rachel reaches out and is like, "Don't negate Krakoa.
Right.
Like for everything that's going on right now, don't take it
Don't
away.
undo this period. Don't pretend like it never happened."
Yeah, and so like he can't do it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I think he could have. He didn't want to do it, and I don't think he ever was going to do it. But like that's the final straw where he's like, okay. So instead, he just implants something like in her mind. He's like, here,
Yeah.
don't
I don't know what that is.
don't be a dick.
Right.
Like I assume that's what it is,
We'll see.
right?
Presumably.
I don't know. And then he makes her forget that
They talked.
that any of this ever happened.
She seemed to talk to him like a child. I thought he took her away.
Oh no.
And it's like, no, you don't remember your old lives.
No. Nope. I'm 99% sure that he just took away that interaction happened. So
Right.
she just goes back to living the life she was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you know the plan like B post you know Doug dying.
Right.
They kill
because Rasputin kills Doug.
Which isn't really Doug.
Right, because it's sinister.
Yeah, Doug is safe someplace else.
Exactly.
Doug is sinister.
Yeah.
Xavier is like, that's fine.
Yep. That's a shame.
He gives her precision. She's like, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
The plan B was the Phoenix.
Right.
Which is brought up that like in the future in which like the Omega Sentinel and the Dominion failed was because of the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
But the Phoenix is dead.
Right.
And that's why he's like, I'm here. Yay me. I win.
Mm-hmm.
I win. Hooray. So they're like, we gotta bring the Phoenix back. And like Rachel's like, I know it's gonna work. Trust me. I've had experience. I know a thing or two. I've had a thing or two.
Yep.
And then Xavier shoots her.
Yeah.
Which I assume
triggers the Phoenix.
I assume he's doing this in order
to I think it's a double fake out. I think it's like you're supposed to think like, no, it's not part of Xavier's plan. He's gonna murder her. Maybe Xavier's still a sinister.
Right.
It's like, no, I think based on the energy discharge from her chest that like that's what.
Well, that is the type of weapon he utilizes, but I'm kind of like, I think he is attempting to make that happen.
Yeah.
I think he's attempting to bring it the Phoenix because the Phoenix usually comes at your
death.
Yeah, or at your like darkest moment, like when you need it most.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe he's using it, or maybe he's sending her to the white hot room in order to
go get it. Yeah.
Lot of possibilities.
It's true.
A lot of possibilities here, and I love this book.
Yeah.
I know it's like confusing and it's all over the place, and you know, I just love Gillen's storytelling and just a lot of really great moments for Xavier.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I don't think he's gonna walk away from this clean.
And
I don't think he should.
Well, he's gonna wear a dumb Magneto helmet or not, or maybe I don't know, who knows. He's not in any of the promo art, so we'll see.
Right. But like I appreciate it, and this is being, even if he ends up walking away more of a villain, it's being treated like well.
Yes.
Like it's being handled well.
Exactly.
So there we go. That's what I got.
Nice. Happy Steve. Hey there, ComicPop crew. Been on the Hawks and Pox since the start and looking forward to seeing how it all ends. And I've been enjoying back issue archives. Alternate is better father than you ever will be. Favorite quote. Thank you very much.
Heck yeah.
Pop culture guy. I'm in the minority here, but I wanted Doctor Strange to last longer, like long enough for me to get a lot of supernatural medical mystery stories. I wanted Doctor Strange to be a new U.S. Blackjack comic. Fair enough.
Yeah, no,
that was an idea. It was a pitch.
I definitely, well, no, I think that leaving Doctor Strange to just show up randomly and have these huge things are just not quite that's not what it's at for me.
I agree.
I prefer when Doctor Strange gets an opportunity, like a lot of the older like 90s stuff, to just, do the bigger stuff, but also make house calls.
Exactly. Yeah. And Skamol says, any good Teen Titans runs aside from Judas Contract? Love the animated show. Wondering if there are any comics worth reading. Definitely, there's tons of. I mean, the entire run of Wolfman and Perez is worth reading. Judas Contract is one chapter in it, but I was more of a Young Justice guy, so that's where I would go. It's like the classic original. Yeah, the old classic Young Justice run. Alex Oram, happy channelversary, ComicPop. Thank you very much. Love you, Sal. Tiffany, you're okay too, I guess. Just kidding. You're awesome. Thanks for the crew. Thanks to the crew for all your hard work. I will extend those thanks. Thanks, guys.
You're right to love Sal.
Yes.
And all shall love him in despair.
That's right. So I read Green Arrow number 10 from Josh Williamson and Tom Dernick and Sean Isaac. This book looks great. It's just a really, really solid, fun, superhero-looking comic. Green Arrow, obviously, is going to fish out the Sanctuary files for Amanda Waller so he can save Roy. And then he's intercepted by a bunch of fun, classic/contemporary Green Arrow supporting characters or characters who are in some ways connected to Green Arrow. Again, if you were a Green Arrow fan, if you remember that Green Arrow promo image that had a whole bunch of characters that you were like, when are they going to show up? Here they all are. And they're here to help out Ollie because they are under the orders of Amanda Waller as well. And so everything works out. Ollie goes into the bowels of this old Justice League base in the Arctic and runs into Roy, and they Roy's been fighting Ollie the entire time because the Sanctuary files are connected with the Sanctuary hard light construct holograms. And so, Roy's dealing with his trauma by dealing with Ollie. And so when Ollie actually shows up, Roy's like, oh, you hologram, you're not going to fool me. And they fight for a second and then realize they're like, oh, we're actually the real person. Like, I think Ollie sees Roy and he thinks it's a hologram, and Roy sees Ollie and thinks he's a hologram. Cute little device. Sure. But it's 2 pages because we don't have time / care. We know the audience is smarter than that. So that's fun. And then they actually, no, it's just from Roy's perspective. It's like Roy thinks Ollie is a hologram, but actually it's real Ollie. And then Ollie's insecurities come to roost, and it's the Justice League.
What?
Like, it's a hard light construct of the entire Justice League, but from like the 80s.
Okay.
Not like, and no, not JLI. It's the 7, but in their like classic when Green Arrow was a member of the League forms.
Okay.
So it's like blue and gray Batman and John and Hal Jordan Green Lantern stuff. It's a lot of fun. The fun of it is just to watch the Arrow family interact and build off of like where Williamson's been going. It's a really fun series. It's definitely worth reading if you are or are not a Green Arrow fan. It's very much, if you don't know of / love the Green Arrow universe, you might if you read this series.
Okay.
But it's definitely like the most DC of the bunch.
I can't believe you're reading Green Arrow. I'm reading Flash. What's happening?
I know, right? Way to go, DC. Your Dawn of DC initiative was apparently a success.
Right.
What else did you read? Anything?
No.
Batman Dark Age #1 from Mark Russell and Mike Allred. This is a great, I guess it's a Black Label book. It could also be an Elseworlds book. It's a really fun book. The concept being that some dudes in masks kill the Waynes on the night that the Waynes were killed, but Bruce was left behind.
Oh, so he didn't see any of it.
He didn't see anybody who was at home at the time.
Okay.
And so Alfred is put in charge of him. Roman Sionis becomes the head of Wayne Enterprises until Wayne's 18th birthday. Wayne is a dick and a difficult youth that is raised by Alfred. So he's just a rich kid.
Right.
It's like he gets into trouble. He gets, he's doing bad stuff, or at the very least, he's doing youthful delinquent stuff, and then constantly getting bailed out. He bumps into Selena in a kind of end of Ferris Bueller, Charlie Sheen kind of way, and it's really cute and fun. And then the one time Bruce does something genuine and attempts something good, he gets arrested, and it's around the time that he really gives Alfred the business. And because Bruce is leading to his 18th birthday, Wayne Enterprises, of course, doesn't want to get taken over by Bruce Wayne, or at least the board doesn't, and so they cut off his legal team, and so he's thrown into like Blackgate. That's the big thing. It's just like, it's really cool. Also, it's sandwiched with this idea of like Bruce Wayne is old and he's in a nursing home, and everyone he knows is dead except for like the children of his family and stuff like that. It's just neat.
That's cool.
It's a neat, weird, cool, quirky book that feels like a classic Elseworlds book, but like the fun kind, not like the kind that's trying to do something. The kind that's just like, let's just do a comic book. How about that? I got this pitch approved. Let's go for it. It's really fun, really worth it. And the all red art really does sell the quirkiness of it.
Okay, for sure.
But it's an easy pickup.
Yeah.
It's an easy book to read.
Okay.
And it's worth reading.
Okay.
So fun. So much fun. I think you would enjoy it. Ultimate Spider-Man 3 from Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto.
I did read this, but that's
Yay!
funny for you to say. I read that.
I read that.
We were talking about something else.
Right, exactly. So there's not much that happens. The identity of the Green Goblin is revealed. He is being targeted by Fisk and company. So they send Bullseye, Ultimate Bullseye, to kill him. Spider-Man intercedes, and they have a rousing fight, which ends essentially in a stalemate where Bullseye gets away, and Green Goblin is revealed, and so is Spider-Man to Green Goblin. This was vexing for me because, as I understand it, Spider-Man's costume was from Iron Man, or rather Tony Stark. So when the Green Goblin says that his outfit is proprietary and then accesses it, I'm like, I've been burned by comics so many times. I'm like, do you remember that it's Iron Man, or is there a connection between Oscorp and Stark Industries?
Iron Man also gave him this.
And there we go.
Because it has an Iron Man look.
That's true.
Like, I assume it's like another piece of the puzzle that needs to occur.
There needs to be a Green Goblin. I like that a lot. The idea that, like, Stark's like, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just gonna tell you needed to be Green Goblin. Here's your suit.
Yeah.
And that's it. Moving on.
Like, I have to set things into motion, heroes and villains.
Yeah, I kind of love that.
I don't know that's really what's happening, but like that was where I went with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also,
I'm sure it's not.
Bullseye's weapons are suspiciously Gambit-esque, and so I think because Peach Momoko was doing her own thing, it's like, no. All the X-Men are in the Marvel universe. They're just not in the book. They're just not in the X-Men.
He also like is French-ish.
Yeah, and his face is covered. Yeah, it's Remy LeBeau. It's definitely.
I thought the exact same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No, Gambit is Bullseye
That's
in this
so
universe.
funny that you thought that too.
Right?
I was like, unless he's Batroc.
No.
The flinger.
I doubt it. But it's funny, actually. I was asked about this because there was, the reveal is that Harry Osborn is Green Goblin. Right. Harry reveals Spider-Man to him and sees that he's Peter Parker. They don't know each other, more or less. And so they're like,
cool, you're a dude.
Oh, let's go get a drink. And so they do, and they leave, and we don't see that. I hope we see that in issue 4. We'll see. But somebody, Rob from Comics Explained, was like, what'd you think? Holy crap. I was like, well, I don't know who this is. Harry Osborn doesn't mean anything to me in this universe. He's a nobody. So I'm not really invested. Like, I'm invested in as much as I'm like, there's a mystery, but I'm more invested in like the fact that Peter's seemingly lying to his wife about his activities, and that two old men are starting a business together, and I want to see that.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the fun. And when I talked about like the supporting cast and how important it is to like highlight them, you could do another Randy Robertson story and have it be boring as shit. Or you could do something like this. Now, obviously, you can't do this kind of thing because Uncle Ben is dead. But in this reality, he isn't, and he's teaming up with J. Jonah Jameson, and they're creating a like newspaper with integrity. I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Mostly because of how they're portrayed, but I also know these characters. At least I think I do, and they're banking on it. Because people are reacting to Harry Osborn and Peter Parker knowing each other, even though if you look at it objectively, they don't know each other, so don't care.
Right.
But I am intrigued and excited to see JJ and Ben teaming up and doing something. I am wondering if it's a misdirect, and Mary Jane does know that the first person Peter told about being Spider-Man was Mary Jane, and it's just that she's so blasé about it that like it's not a big deal. She's like, I told you I support you, and I told you that you can do it. So like, I'm not going to keep asking you about what you're up to.
Right.
You know, you and the kid are playing on your iPad. I want to know what it is. You know, and I'm not telling the boy because I thought you didn't tell the girl.
Right.
Maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
I don't know. But what do you think
About their
whole thing? Like, do you think Mary Jane knows? And what do you think of the issue?
I think Mary Jane can't help but know,
I mean, there's no way she doesn't know,
because that's how like he's writing her.
right? Like,
You know,
she's smart.
I feel like she knows, and like, she just knows that he needs his time,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually he'll tell her. I don't think the boy knows.
No. If he did, he would be all over
Richard
it.
knows
Richard
anything.
does not know.
Richard just was like, I gotta get new shoes. Mom said I need new shoes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I need to do. Thanks.
Cute.
Yeah, no, I hope so. Otherwise, like, it's gonna be. Hopefully she'll get it. Hopefully she'll understand. I don't know. I don't want it to be a shit show.
Me
for them.
either.
I really don't.
Like, part of the reason why people are buying this damn thing is because people want to see Pete and Mary Jane together.
Yeah.
It would be really cruel and weird if they were like, and him being Spider-Man breaks up their marriage. Especially since she was like, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Like, you should do the right thing and do this.
Right.
And it's like, oh, but don't, like, but the other thing is, I didn't tell you to lie to me about it. Which I'm like,
hopefully that's not it.
I don't know.
Hopefully that's not it.
Because I don't like the idea of him withholding.
Right.
You know, part of the fun of their relationship is that she knows.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But overall, I mean, like, the art's fantastic. Chichetto's really doing it.
What about the suit design?
Oh, there's a little sequence where they show all the suit designs. It's obviously a throwback. There's a Ben Reilly reference. There's an Iron Spider reference.
He's cool.
Yeah, he's cool. He's young. He's hip. And I'm like, that's funny.
I love. He's like, I look cool.
That is exactly what they thought when they invented the Scarlet Spider suit. She's like, no, you don't.
Dad, that's not cool.
That's not cool. No. I also love that, like, they arrive at the suit, you know, where it's like, it's blue. No, more red. And I'm like, I like the blue suit. I always like seeing a Spider-Man that's blue.
Yeah, it was cute to see.
But it was cute to see a little sequence.
I also loved him in the full black with the spider, but the webs.
Yeah, with the webs, like he's Spider-Man 3.
She's like, it's scary.
It's still scary. I don't like it.
You're scary. I don't like it.
It's like, okay, all right, fair enough. It's great.
Like, the two of them are adorable.
Yeah, no, they have great, like, rapport. She's like a real character.
Yeah.
It's cute and fun. It's just a really, like, genuine book. I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that, like its predecessor, it's not bogged down in all the Ultimate nonsense. You know, like, Ultimatum happened and it's like, yeah, Spider-Man saved some people at the end.
Right.
You know,
I also like the fact that because this is an Ultimate Universe and it is Hickman, I have no idea. And I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to at all. I want him to pave this path.
Yes.
You know, I don't know where he's going with this. I don't know what twists and turns. You know, obviously I can't help thinking about it. I'm like, who's gonna die? And I'm like, stop,
right?
Stop. Just enjoy the book. Just enjoy the book.
Mm-hmm.
Just enjoy the book.
Yeah, trying, and it's so great. Hard. I'm loving it. It's a great book.
Yeah.
So yeah,
so cute. This was a great issue.
It's a great issue.
It was really well paced, but I felt like I was like, I want more.
Oh yeah,
like in that way where it wasn't like I felt cheated, but I was like, oh man,
it's almost over.
Yeah, it's well done. Okay.
Next one, damn. Yeah, it's a fantastic read, and I'm just enjoying the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Pop Culture Guy 3000, Silent Tiffany, what are your thoughts on Peter David's Full Moon direct-to-video movie, the sci-fi western movie Oblivion? I don't know. I've never seen it.
It's a 90s movie. I've never seen it either, but it's not technically his. He wrote the screenplay for it. He did not craft the story for it. Like, he took a story that had already been written and he wrote the screenplay for it. So not really his.
Okay.
That's it. I've never seen it.
Yeah. That being said, I never read it.
Didn't even know it existed. I looked it up real quick. I was like, oh, but that's interesting. He didn't actually write the script.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't write the story.
He adapted it.
Yeah.
Paul Williams, thank you both for getting me into getting me into X-Men. I love the period I am in, the tail end of Destiny of X.
Nice.
It's a race as Marvel is making some titles out of print.
Ooh, okay.
Geez. Well,
okay.
I'm sure the back issues will be cheap.
Mm-mm.
So if you're ever worried, or you know, if you're looking to get, you could probably just get all, like, if it's a 6-issue miniseries.
But
or
that
whatever,
can be hard to store sometimes, and that's really what it comes down to. Like, I totally understand that.
That's true. That's true. What is your book of the week? I think we all know. It's Helena Winhorn.
It is Helena Winhorn. You're right.
Right? It's got to be Gods or Rise of the Powers of 10.
It's Gods. I gotta say it's Gods.
Gods number 6.
Gods was just so. I mean, like, I loved Rise of the Powers of 10, and I really love Flash this week.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be Gods number 6 for me. This was just so incredible. It was exactly what I was looking for. I was riveted.
Yeah,
riveted. Loved this.
That's fair. I want to say it's Ultimate Spider-Man, but I will say I really runner-up for
That's
me
fair.
is Green Arrow #10. I had such fun reading it. It was such a joy.
Yeah.
It's one of those like rare moments where I was like, I'm glad I know the writer, and then I could text him and be like, this is really cool.
No, admittedly, like Ultimate Spider-Man is up there as well. It's
Yeah.
just it's almost a book that I could take for granted.
Easily. People can definitely do that, which is why you should pre-order the series
No, because I'm
buy
like,
it.
I know it's gonna be great. But I also know it's potentially like gonna like in the future could really hold some shakeups.
Oh yeah.
Because we have no idea.
Oh no,
so-
this has ripple effects. It's definitely. I hope it's rocking the House of Ideas right now, and
Right?
and forcing them to come up with new.
Wait, are 2 different Hickman books the books of the week
Oops.
this week?
Who'd have thought? Well, Hickman's going to write multiple books. They're going to end up on the list. But let's talk about some books that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. I am going to recommend Minor Threats 2. It's also called Minor Threats: The Fastest Way Down #1. This is a humor, but also very serious. It's a real story. It's not just like we're having fun, we're making fun of comic books, and it is very much its own universe. If you don't know, because I know statistically you didn't watch it, the interview I had with Jordan Bloom and Patton Oswalt very recently from last week, that episode will give you a good refresher / tease about what this series is. I just really enjoyed it, and it's just there are a lot of different universes out there from in the independent world that try to get your attention by being like, I'm a subversive take on superhero comic books. And some of them work and most of them don't. And this one does. I just enjoyed it. You can keep looking for your books.
Yeah, I figured.
Spider-Man Shadow of the Green Goblin #1 from JMD Mateus, art by Michael Santa Maria, is coming out. Oh my God, JMD Mateus writing a Spider-Man book with Green Goblin in it? Well, sign me the hell up. I'm in. So I will. I will continue to buy books that have Spider-Man in them that are also not Amazing Spider-Man. The most recent issues that I have reviewed notwithstanding. But I occasionally will dip in and be like, oh, there's maybe this is worth checking out. I'm always punished for it, unfortunately. The Captain America #8 is coming out. This is, of course, Babylon 5 creator J. Michael Straczynski, the other JM writer in the world of comics. Carlo Magno doing the art on this one. Carlos Magno, I'm sorry. This is a fantastic Captain America book that I think people are sleeping on. Like, I genuinely think people are not reading this book, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is Captain America by J.M. Straczynski, creator of Babylon 5. Like, what are you doing here? It's everything you want. The dude wrote the monologue they stole and put into the Civil War movie. Yeah, everyone loves that monologue, and they're like, that is so Captain America. I'm like, well, he says a lot of other things in this book. There's 8 issues of it.
He says many other things.
He says all kinds. He says more things in these books than he ever did in that one monologue in a Spider-Man comic. So yeah, it's worth checking out.
Okay.
Birds of Prey #8, obviously Kelly Thompson, fantastic series. This time Javier Pina doing the art. I love this book. Birds of Prey is up there. It's as good as Green Arrow. Which is another thing I know I never say. And I'll go so far as say I think it's the best Birds of Prey.
Ooh.
I've read Birds of Prey.
Ooh.
And I can tell you this, none of them have made me actually read it regularly like this one does.
Okay.
Sensational She-Hulk #7 is coming out from Jen Bartel. We'll see. I may be off this book. I don't know.
And also.
Oh, and Rainbow Rowell, obviously. I don't know. We'll see.
That's weird. It says no. This is the team.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Rainbow Rowell and Iguara is doing the interiors. I'm sorry.
Although it says Genolay on here.
Oh God. Comics, come on, Marvel. What's your problem?
Well, I don't know if it's them.
I don't want people to read this. Yeah. But Sensational She-Hulk. It's still Rainbow Rowell's story, so I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. There you go.
But I might be off. We'll see.
Okay.
If it's on the chopping block.
I just want to see who's doing that.
Oh yeah, no, there's another wonderful Black, White, and Blood concept for Alien with Cody Ziegler. I always check these out.
Yeah, because it's a bunch of smaller stories, right?
Smaller stories in the Alien universe. I'm in.
It's a couple of them there. Yeah. Great stuff.
Right? How about you?
There's not a lot coming after me. This week. I got two. Doctor Strange #14, Jed McKay. Art by Pascal Ferry, and don't forget we're in like D&D world.
Yes,
can't wait. It's like D&D Jumanji. I'm here for it. And Vengeance of the Moon Knight #4, Alessandro Cappuccio and Jed McKay on this book. I assume this is going to be about Hunter's Moon based on the cover. Each issue has been like continuing the Moon Knight story while also doing highlights on a specific character, and we're finally getting some more information about Hunter's Moon, which I'm thrilled. I'm very thrilled about that. I feel like we got some stuff, but like I'm looking forward to getting some more on him. Right, and also X-Men #33. How did I scroll past that without calling that one out? X-Men #33, written by Jerry Duggan with art by Josh Cassara. Let's go, people! It's time for the X-Men to assemble and to make their final stand. Looking forward to it, for sure. Really liking how everything's kind of coming together for it. I don't love this story at all, but I think this is a great cover. Freaking Gunslinger Spawn.
That's friggin' dope.
It's great looking.
Yep, it's a great book.
Great
cover.
Fun looking cover. Not picking it up.
Not picking it up, but it's a fun cover.
Yeah, for sure.
There was another book. An honorable mention goes to Ghost Machine. They're dropping 2 #1s this week: Rook, Exodus, and Redcoat. Maybe I'll read them. We'll see. I am not in any way strong-armed by anybody to read them, so I might. I went to ask you about that book that you're clicking on right now, and if you've read any of it. I don't recall.
I have it at home. I didn't get
you have it at home. That's right.
I literally have it at home.
Yeah.
Because The Last Mermaid #2 is coming out. I really wanted to read this in physical because of the fact that it's such a strange shape. And for some reason that really like adds to the enjoyment. As much as I love panel to panel in digital, when a book is specifically like formatted, I want that format in my hand. So I just recently picked up the first issue, so I'd like to read that. But I will, since I have a light week, I will hopefully read the first one and then pick up the second one.
There we go. Fantastic. We want to thank everybody, especially our super chatters, for sponsoring today's show. Speaking of which, I believe
I think we're caught up.
We are caught up. So thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. We really, really appreciate it. In light of recent tragedies, we want to remind you that if you are in a dark place and you are considering self-harm, there are options for you in the chat. There is a 800 number and a website you can visit. These are staffed by trained counselors who are there to offer support when you feel there isn't any. And of course, if you're catching the show after the fact, you can find it pinned in the comments down below. But make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and of course, pre-order your comic books, because that's the only way you're going to get your books from not getting canceled. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys next week with another episode. Of course, here on this network, we've got plenty to choose from. Back issues coming. I got to edit the shit out of that. It's not done. So we're going to have
for this week?
Yeah, that's right. I know. So that's got to get cut. Tiffany's streaming on twitch.tv/ComicPop, and of course simultaneously streaming on youtube.com at ComicPop Plays. What do you know what you're playing?
I'm not 100%. I had a couple of ideas. I thought about maybe just doing some more Helldivers. I thought about doing maybe some Phasmophobia, and then I saw this game called That's Not My Neighbor, and I thought that'd be kind of fun too. So I'm gonna look a little bit more into that. Right. I also thought about going back into Spider-Man and just finishing up my but it's like what I have to do is so boring,
right? And that's what I'm doing.
I have to go find spider bots, and I want to get my 100% before I start a new game plus.
Yeah,
so it just feels like it's a waste.
I am also just plowing through it. I'm getting all these like spare parts, and I can't find any spider bots. I don't know where the hell they are.
Wow.
But
maybe you got them all.
By the way, if you are playing Helldivers 2, if you want to join our Discord, every link for everything we do is in the description below this video, but there's an invite link to our Discord. There is a Discord channel for Helldivers 2 if you want to squad up with anybody from the channel. I know that from the audience of the channel, but I know that there's at least one person who's keeping that chat alive. So if you're looking to squad up with anybody, he would love a friend. So please jump in. Yeah, otherwise, we'll see you guys next week with another episode. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody, and stay safe. We'll see you next time. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody.
Bye.